Spanning the globe to bring you the constant variety of art, it's the Tenant Podcast. I'm Todd Pearson, coming to you from the 40 West Arts District here in Lakewood, Colorado. And joining me from his podcast studio in Rapid City, it's South Dakota's favorite son. You know him as quite possibly the most interesting man in the world, my partner and friend, Wes Brown.
Hey, Todd, how you doing, my friend? Oh, my God, it's another week.
It's another week.
That's right. We took a couple weeks off, but we're back again.
Yeah, that was my fault. I had a little biological flaw that required the hand of a surgeon to remedy, but I'm recuperating and feeling much better day by day. So,
well, good for you. I'm glad it was a huge success.
Well, I'm keeping my fingers crossed. It's contingent on me cooling my shit for another couple of weeks. So
I know
we'll see if I can do that.
Like lift things and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
So, but
yep, I was pretty grumpy yesterday about it, but
were you? Good.
I'm much better today.
I'm glad I'm in South Dakota then.
Oh, come on now.
You just need me to come and give you a big old hug.
We haven't had an argument in years.
That's right.
No 6th Avenue arguments yelling at each other as we're driving away
in the car. Yeah.
Fuck you. No, fuck you.
I don't understand why we interviewed this person. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, that was fun. That was fun.
And then we hugged it out.
We did. I think we've talked about this before. We did a serious marriage counseling thing. Like, so what you're saying is when I say this, you're feeling this. Yes, that's what I'm saying.
That's the way you make me feel, Wes.
Right. Straight up. Like they should have filmed it and marriage counseling 101. But we did. We hugged it out in the driveway.
I think that would have been a viral YouTube right there.
That's right. There may or may not have been tears. I don't know.
But there was hugs at the end.
I do.
And I'm not a hugger, but I
love hugs. I am a hugger. Yeah. So
everything's been going pretty well. I had a lot of time on my hands to think about things. I'm in my head constantly. What do I need to do? Where am I going? What's this all about?
What is this journey about?
Yeah. Though the benefit of all this is that I've had time to watch some documentaries. So there's a couple documentaries that you should definitely check out. Our listeners should check out too. One is, and I think I mentioned this to you, The Dark Wizard on HBO,
yes, about the climber.
About Dean Potter, Dean Potter. Yeah. Really kind of interesting, fascinating biographical series about who he was, and it all revolves around interviews with his friends and his journals, and it's pretty compelling. Even if you're not a climber, I think you'll find it fascinating just getting into the psyche of someone that's doing extreme things. And then the other one I watched, which was actually kind of disheartening, there was a documentary on Netflix called The Plastic Detox, and it's pretty eye-opening because the plastic permeates every facet of our lives and it's causing major problems.
Yeah.
And of course, we're one of the only countries that doesn't regulate the things that are in plastic. Our list of terrible components that are in plastics, and plastics are actually not that bad. They are plant-based plastics, but of course we're never going to go that route here at this juncture of the game. But there's 11 chemicals or what have you, or compounds that are addressed in the United States as compared to Europe, where they have a list of 1,100 that you can't utilize in the process of making these things. So it's pretty mind-opening, and you'll realize holy crap, what can I do? Everywhere you look, from product bottles in your bathroom, hair products or whatever, or skincare products, to all the stuff that our food comes in. It's crazy.
Yep.
Our clothes too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Most of our clothes have some kind of synthetic weirdness, chemical compound.
Oh, and then people flushing drugs down the toilet, and then it gets in our water system. Have you heard about that? That's a crazy thing too. Yeah. So anyway, man, we're getting it from all angles. So
yeah, humanity.
I'm on my way out though. I got a good 20, 30 years left. So
There you go, man. Just take
this
it one day
this
at
is
a
my
time.
grandpa. I'm glad I lived the 70 years I did, not the next 70. So that's my
Oh.
grandpa voice for all you younger kids out there. All right.
Well, eventually the earth will purge us and we won't have to worry about it.
Right.
There's
Yes.
my little fatalistic
There we
thought
go.
for the day.
Your glass half full thing. Oh no, it's half empty, isn't it?
No, it's
That's
half
awesome.
full.
Is it?
I've said this before. Yes,
Yeah.
it's half full. But at any
You're
given
waiting for
moment,
somebody to kick it over.
yep, at any given moment, that son of a bitch could be kicked over. So there you go.
I love that. We should make t-shirts of that and sell it.
I have all these t-shirts going in my head. So anytime you
Oh,
want
you
to give
need
me
to share
t-shirts.
because I'll be glad to make some
Okay,
because I got connections
let's do it.
in the t-shirt industry. All
All
right,
right.
buddy.
You want to talk some art?
Let's talk some art
Our guest this week
now
is
that I'm
patiently
completely depressed
waiting.
by
He could have.
plastics.
We should have told her she could have jumped in too. So
I
She
wasn't
could.
sure. I was just like, oh, I have so much to say about this.
Oh,
But
well, let's before you do the intro, let's get you.
it's just
yeah, put
Yeah,
your
just
two
jump in
cents
there.
in.
the whole thing. Plastics everywhere, clothes, yeah, synthetic. I try not to overthink about it. I feel like I'm a little bit of an environmentalist. I don't know. It's very overwhelming.
Yes.
It is overwhelming and it's
Mhm.
gross. It's just
It's
gross. I
gross.
felt gross after watching that documentary. I'm like, how much, we all have these plastic and all these plastics, microplastics inside of us. And
Yes.
Microplastics, yeah.
Yeah, in our bloodstream and everything.
yeah.
Somebody told me the other day they came over and I offered a spindrift, and they're like, I try not to drink those anymore. Like, I heard there's microplastics in it. And I was just like, what? What do you mean? Like, spindrift? I don't know.
I'm not even sure what that is, but
It's a drink.
oh,
Yeah, it's kind of like a seltzer water.
oh, okay, okay.
Yeah.
You should see my I have I process water. So even tap water, I have this filter system that I process everything. So I got like glass jugs, half-gallon glass jugs of water just in my fridge and on the counter, and it's all been processed supposedly to the minute, like really fine. So, but anyway,
You have
so
like a filter system? What do you
yeah,
do?
so it's a container that you pour water in the top, and it's gravity fed filter system that removes a lot, and you can tell the difference. Like even the chlorine in our treated water, it takes it out. So like it's like pure, processed water, I guess. Kind of like you'd get it if you were buying big bottled water at wherever, Water Tree or whatever.
Well,
So-
you're going to live longer than you thought you would.
Yeah, that's what everybody wants.
I mean, look at him.
I'm 103.
Yeah.
No,
And you
I'm
look
not.
damn good, dude.
I
I mean,
do.
look at that
You're
hair.
radiant.
I wish I had that hair.
It's pretty good, isn't it? The
But I
color
feel
is
like
amazing too.
I feel like maybe the plastic's doing something for you. Like you're a chia pet and you're just sprouting plastic.
You look
Plastic.
shiny.
I do look shiny. Well,
I'm just
my
That's
forehead
because we don't
looks
have a
shiny.
makeup artist.
Makeup.
This is a low budget podcast here.
Yeah. Who's the
Sorry,
makeup
Jess.
artist? Wes.
We were gonna
I
bring
know.
one in and
I was like, when does wardrobe? Oh wait, nobody can see me.
oh
Oh my God.
Hey,
This is
on
going
that-
off the deep end.
yeah, I know, right?
I love it.
I love it. Jinx,
We didn't say it at the same time.
pretty much. Well, I think
Okay.
there was some latency there.
Okay.
I got really nervous there because I was like, does that mean I have to take over? Because like somebody can't talk now, right?
Oh, is that what that? Okay.
I don't
Oof.
know.
We don't want that.
We will gladly give you the helm if you want to just take this from here. We're
Maybe you
into it.
You'd be like Georgia. Remember Georgia? She ended started interviewing us. It was
Yeah.
funny. God,
About
Georgia
halfway through
Amar.
the interview, it's like we're not even doing this interview. We're just here as like.
She's like, so tell me about your childhood. Damn it.
So to our listeners out there, We do have a fantastic guest. You're hearing her lovely voice right now. She is a Colorado-based artist utilizing painting and sewn textile processes. You can check out her work at her website, jesmoran.com, and you can follow her on Instagram at Jess, D as in dynamite, Moran. Jess, it's good to see you.
Hi, it's good to see you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
I'm excited to be here.
I don't think we've ever met in person. I know about your work. We've been following you for a while, but I don't know that I've ever seen you. I mean, I make treks down to Colorado Springs at least a handful of times a year to various openings, but
Yeah.
I don't believe, and I believe I have seen your work at Auric before, but mostly I know your work through the algorithm gods via Instagram.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think we met. I think I would remember. I remember a lot of faces.
You're a
It
face
could be like
person?
in this creepy way where I'd be like, I remember you. You were at the grocery store. And then you'd look at me weird and I'd be like, no, I remember. You had this potato chips. Like, I just remember faces and we haven't met.
Okay.
Yeah, I do sales. So I remember I meet a lot of people, and if you take them out of their environment, man, sometimes, I mean, I'll recognize them, like I'll see their face, but I can't put their name to the face unless you put them back in their environment. So behind their desk or whatever.
Yeah.
It's weird. Like I'll go to Menards and I'll run into a client and I'll be like, oh, I know that person. Who is it? And then I'll see him like a week later. I'm like, oh, you were at Menards, weren't you? So, it's weird. It is weird. So
Yeah.
I'm horrible with names. That's my problem.
Yeah, I am too. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you two right now because this is one of my weird rabbit holes I've gone down recently. Do you ever see people that you kind of are acquaintances with, or like kind of casually know, but you're like, I don't really necessarily want to have a conversation. Like you feel obligated to go say, "Oh, hey, how's it going? What are you doing here at Costco on Saturday afternoon or
Right.
whatever?" But you're just like, "Yeah, I'm not going to have that conversation." You ever feel like that?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I've done it where I've went down the other aisle, like, oh, I'm out.
Yep. No, that's exactly what I do. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Mhm.
All right. Then I'm not that weird.
I like it when like we have the mayor, right? And I know his wife kind of. We've had ice cream together and all this him and his wife and my wife and I. And I think Gwen, I seen her the other night at a restaurant and Jason walked by and I said, "Hey Jason, how you doing?" And then Gwen was right behind him. I said, "Hey Gwen," and she looked at me and she said hi, but she had that look like, how do I know this guy? So, oh, and here's another interesting thing. So if you move to this is a great technique. If you move to a town and you don't know anybody, but you've seen, let's say, like I did this with Jack Cottle at KVN. He's a newscaster. He's on the news every night, right? And I didn't know him, but I recognized him because I see him on the news. So I knew his name. So every time I'd see him in the community, I'd say, "Hey, Jack, how you doing?" And he would be like, "I don't know who you are." And I'd say, "Hey, I'm Wes." And I'd always introduce myself. "Hey, Jack, how you doing? It's Wes." And then what's funny is I ended up working for the company and he knew exactly who I was. And he put a good word in, even though our total conversation was generally, "Hey, Jack, how you doing? I'm Wes." And that was it. But it was a great way. And like, just getting to know certain people. And I did that with other people too. Like somebody in the community you want to get to know. Every time you see him in the community, just walk up to him, say your name, say hi, using their name, say your name. And then it kind of helps remember names because I'm horrible at that. So it's just kind of an interesting thing. People start to like, "Hey, how you doing?"
Well, I think it makes people feel seen, right?
Yeah.
They're like, "Oh, wow. Oh." And then, they're like, "Oh, that guy's nice. I like him."
Use their name. And also the old trick now, I don't know if they used to teach it, but when you count change back, you touch their hand when you're given the change. And it gives the person receiving the change back a warm feeling, of like acceptance or whatever. So that's another little psychic
I think that's creepy.
trip. It is creepy. I mean,
I
I'm
don't
not
want
saying
people
you touch
touching me,
them.
dude.
I'm touching you.
Yeah, some people, they're like, "Ooh, germs," right?
Yeah, yeah, and I think that may be because of COVID, right? That might not be a cool thing to do. I mean, and we're all conscious about our personal space now where we never used to be, but anyway. I'm touching you, Todd. I don't care. Next time.
Oh man, you should
I'm
write a
gonna
book.
I'm gonna
You should
hug
write a
you
book.
until you feel uncomfortable.
You're gonna what?
I'm gonna give you a big old hug and I'm gonna
Oh
hold
my
it
God.
until you feel uncomfortable.
I thought you said something completely different, which I'm not going to repeat.
Good. Let's
It was
not.
going to get really weird. And, I know that we've talked about spooning before on the podcast, but that is not what I heard come through my headphones.
Well, good. You
Yeah,
should get new headphones
I guess. Or new ears, one of the two.
or a new friend.
No, I love you, dude.
I love you too, Todd. Hey, have we even introduced our guest yet?
We did, but you're so
Oh.
old you forgot.
Oh, that's right. I'll cut that out.
No, I think you guys should leave that.
Okay, we can leave it. I'll leave it just for you, Jess. So, Jess, like, where did you get your start in art? Did you start in like as a little kid doing paper products like the old the hand turkeys and stuff like that?
Yeah, I definitely started as a kid. Yeah. My favorite story to tell people, even though I don't remember it, my mom, she likes to tell the story to me like all the time. And I'm like, yeah, tell it to me again. She said one time, I think I was like around 4, and she walked into my room and I had colored like the whole wall purple, but like only as far as I could reach, right? So I don't know, it was maybe like a third of the wall. And she was like, oh crap. She was just like, oh my gosh. And I'm there like, check it out, right? Like this is my masterpiece. And she said, she was like, oh gosh, like, like, your dad's gonna get home and he's gonna be like, oh my gosh. But I guess my dad got home and he was like, she's an artist. He was like, whatever, we'll just paint over it. And that was it. I always wanted to buy paper and just always drawing all the time. So,
That's
yeah.
a great story.
It is.
Love that. And I love that your dad didn't lose his mind and, he was just like, oh, she's an artist. Let's
Yeah.
roll with
My
this.
dad is pretty creative. So I don't know. Maybe he was just like, cool. Yeah. It was good.
You live in the Springs. You've
Yes.
lived here for over 20 years in Colorado, but you actually grew up in California. Is that right?
Yeah. So I was born in California around the Bay Area. And then we moved like east of the Bay Area, a small town called Lathrop. And we lived there till I was 11. My dad is from California. My mom is from Wisconsin. So then when I was 11, we moved to Wisconsin and I went to middle school and high school there.
Interesting.
Where in Wisconsin?
A small town called Beloit. It's about an hour south of Madison. It's right on the Wisconsin-Illinois border.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I've been through Madison. I like that. And by the way, Todd will roll his eyes. I'm a SoCal guy. So I was born in Oceanside. So yeah. But I was little when we moved. Then we moved to Hawaii for a while and then to South Dakota. But yeah.
Dang.
So I was really little.
Hawaii, yeah.
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 Yep. Yeah.
But now you're in Colorado.
Yeah.
Good place.
Beautiful Colorado. I love Colorado.
Yeah.
Todd.
I'm trying to get him to move back here.
I know. I'd love to
He's dragging his feet.
If they would fucking lower their housing costs, that would be.
It's coming down.
Is it?
Just wait. Yeah. Just
okay.
wait.
I'm going to wait for the big
It's
crash.
all cyclic.
Yeah.
So in addition to being a little artist at age 4, as you started this journey, what was life like for you growing up?
Oh gosh, where do I start? I don't know. Like creatively?
Creatively, and like things
Just
that you
growing
were
up.
involved with, things that influenced you on your journey later in life.
Like I said, I grew up in small towns, and both my dad's parents, they lived in Northern California. They had this tiny little trailer like on the side of a hill, and we would go out there and my brother and I would just run around in nature. They had chickens and so I spent a lot of time outside. And then during the summers, we would go to Wisconsin and stay with my grandma, and she lived on the river. And I grew up with an older brother. I was always wanting to do everything that he did. He was very active. I definitely like have this deep love for nature and being outside and adventure. And then there was always just my creative side as well, like a little bit more introverted and like, okay, I'm going to go inside now and like color or draw or make something. And then I think like when I got into high school, growing up in Beloit, I didn't really like grow up around art. It's not like I didn't grow up with parents that were like taking me to art museums and like I didn't know anything about art history. So I just kind of made things with whatever I had. Like I remember going to Joanne Fabrics and I don't know, sewing, kind of maybe more like craft based things. Yeah, so I think that definitely influenced me. And then I got into the rave scene, to be completely honest. I got
Wow.
into the rave scene in the 90s and I started altering a lot of my clothes, like adding fabric to the sides of my pants. And I guess my dad said, "Why don't you study fashion design?" They didn't know I was going to raves. But I liked it because it was very creative. Everybody had these outfits and the music. So yeah, then I moved out to Oregon to study apparel design. I went to art school there for a year. And then I got pregnant with my son, Ethan. So that definitely slowed things down and still creating a lot, but as a mom.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's how I ended up in Colorado. I moved here with his dad.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right on.
How old's your son now?
He's 22.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah. He works at Wax Tracks.
Oh, really?
Right
Yeah.
on.
You've probably seen him. He does their social media. He has like big curly hair.
I'll be
I don't know.
Definitely will have to pay a little bit more attention. That's cool. Right on.
Shout out to him.
That's right. That's right.
So it sounds like you were always engaged making things. You were a maker of things. What is that compulsion? Where does that come from? Does that come from, you said your parents weren't necessarily artists per se, but were they makers of things? Did they do, projects? Did they, yeah.
Yeah. My dad is definitely a maker. I grew up, he used to carve. I remember him carving. And I think I get it from my dad's side of the family. But I think it's just this sort of natural compulsion almost. It's just, I have to do it. That's how it feels. It's always felt that way. Like if I'm not making, I can actually start to get a little moody, quite honestly. I have to have some sort of creative time. I mean, I think I've heard other artists say it too. It's like breathing in a lot of ways, That's my source of joy and yeah, I have to do it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So first and foremost, you create for yourself.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's just the whole process of things that really compels you. Like just jumping into something, using your hands, going down the rabbit hole with a thought.
Yeah. Yeah. Using my hands. I think that, something as simple as seeing a certain sort of light or color or shadow, or even something I might read in a book or a magazine or architecture. And that kind of just starts getting my brain going. And yeah, the idea is just start flowing. And then it's, I have to make this, or I'm going to try to make this, or this is something I want to explore. I would say that. Yeah.
I'm kind of picking up like you probably don't get writer's block. Well, artist block. Is there always something creative kind of coming out? Or do you have times where you're like, oh shit, I don't know what to do? I kind of struggle with, I don't know what to do. like I want to do something creative, but I don't know what it is. And I get lost in that because I'm not actively, because I have a day job and I'm not actively doing it. So as an artist, and I know you work outside of art as well, but
Right.
so is those creative ideas constantly coming?
I would say it didn't used to be that way. The last 5 years, I've intentionally made that decision to have a regular art practice. And once I did that, it got a lot easier. I think that I think that I just made a choice to actively create, right? And decide this is going to be a part of my life every day or almost every day.
Right.
And I'm going to make time for it. I'm going to make space for it. And since I did that, I feel like I have a lot of creative ideas. If anything, I have a hard time narrowing it down. I would say that's more my challenge because, you know, like 6 months ago, I was exploring natural dyes and I went way down this rabbit hole of natural dyes and natural pigments. And yeah, so for me, it's more like, how do I have all these ideas and how do I pick one and focus on that one thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting. I
Yeah.
need to hang out with you because I like the rabbit hole thing. So just having that
Yeah.
connection of like, if you're going to do natural dyes, which to me sitting here right now sounds very interesting. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Did you want to talk about that?
maybe. So, yeah, I'm always looking. I like alternative processing. I mean, Todd and I've talked about this in photography, right? There's all these different salt prints and stuff like that. But I don't have anybody to like do it with, like to explore it with. So I think and I don't know why I just don't do it at home, but I feel like I need somebody to show me, and like YouTube isn't enough. So
Oh.
I need somebody to hold my hand evidently through the process, right? I don't know why, but like hearing you
Okay.
talk about going into a rabbit hole of natural dyes just sounds interesting to me. Like what kind of material are you using? Are you using chloroform from plants and
Oh,
that kind
yeah.
of stuff or whatever? But
Yeah, I think, well, even going back to like the environment and the plastic thing, I use acrylic paint, right? And
mm-hmm.
there's a lot of waste in being an artist. I hate admitting that. Sometimes that's a struggle. And so I wanted to explore like making things that felt a little bit more sustainable and easier on the planet. So I did go down, like I was using like rose petals and marigold petals, and I was grinding them up
Oh
into
wow.
like a fine powder and then adding egg yolk and walnut oil. And then I was dyeing the fabric with that. And then I was also just buying like rock pigments online. And then you can add a walnut oil to that. You're essentially just making your own oil paint without all of the extra additives.
So does
Um,
walnut oil make it less toxic than like, because like if you're painting with oil, like oil paintings, the turpentine and all those, there's a lot of toxicity to that stuff.
yeah, exactly.
So
Yeah.
less so with like walnut oil and that.
Well, I think that, I mean, I don't know all of the things that are in, like if you were just go to the store and buy a tube of oil paint. So, like that part of it, right? You're like, okay, I'm using rock pigment and walnut oil, but you still have to clean that. So you still have to bring in the turpentine.
Mm,
And then that's where it got really messy and I felt like this is defeating the purpose of what I'm trying to do here. So then I just went back to acrylic paint, and then like the flower dyes seemed a little bit easier, and I was using you're creating like an egg tempera paint by adding the egg yolk,
okay.
but so I had like paints in my fridge and it was a lot. I learned a lot. It was a lot of fun. But then you have
Yeah.
to think about the longevity of the work and yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't
Tempura though lasts like that's archival. Like, I mean, it'll last for a long time, right? Hundreds of years,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so. I paint on raw canvas. So I think, well, no, I think it probably lasts as long. I'm not
Okay.
sure. Yeah.
So
But
you don't use gesso? You don't gesso at first, or oh,
no, the
really?
canvas is just raw. Yeah. So the acrylic paint, I mix it with water and I stain the canvas.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. Mhm. So I treat it more just like a fabric because I'm cutting it up and sewing it back together.
Okay, okay,
Yeah.
yeah,
Hmm.
it's interesting. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was a nice
You,
little rabbit hole.
it was a great little rabbit hole. You said 5 or 6 years ago you made this conscious decision that you were going to really pursue art and in your practice, and you were making some decisions in that aspect of your art practice. Was there a particular epiphany that you had, or a particular catalyst that you were like, all right, this is it, this is what I need to do, this is the direction I'm going?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, to rewind a little bit, I moved down to the Springs in 2017 and bought a house, and I was going to have my first studio in that home. But prior to that, it was always, a spot in the living room or the bedroom or a kitchen. And so I I thought this is it. I have a space and I can do something, but I didn't start painting. I was making clothes for a little while. Since I had studied apparel design, I kind of thought, well, maybe I should give that a try. And I made a small batch of organic linen clothing. So I did that for a little while and then realized this is not for me. This feels way too confining. And then I've always loved photography. So I did some elopement photography for a while. I did that for a couple of years. And then COVID hit and that kind of shot that down, right? Because everyone was staying at home. And I think that was the moment where I realized I don't really want to be doing this anyways. Like all the time that I'm doing these other things, I'm always thinking, I want to be a painter. I want to be a painter. Like that's what I really want to do. But I'm trying to do these other things that I think are going to be more successful or make me money. Yeah, that was the moment. I actually got COVID and I was quarantined to my bedroom for a couple of weeks and was just in there with my art supplies, doodling and drawing. And yeah, that was definitely the turning point for me.
Hmm.
Yeah, and then I just spent a year just painting on paper only. I
Oh,
think prior to that, I had painted a lot of self portraits and realism. That's what I was always good at. So I think I felt like, well, this is what I'm good at. This is what people say I'm good at. So this is what I should do. But something just changed. I thought I just want to like erase everything and just start from the very beginning. I just want to paint and explore, and I don't want to have any pressure. And painting on paper, I mean, I could just paint something quickly, and then if I didn't like it, it didn't matter, right? And so that was it for me. And I
hmm.
just really haven't looked back. I just keep going.
Do you have a foundation in figurative painting then, a little bit, or just kind of self-taught figurative painting?
I would say no, I don't. I mean, I did. So I studied the apparel design for a year and then on and off while my son was growing up, I would like go back to school and study art. So I've definitely taken a fair amount of art, like fine art classes, but I never really got deep into it. I would say I'm primarily self taught.
So we
Mm-hmm.
have this conversation every now and then. We haven't had it in a while with abstract artists, and then the difference between abstract artists that have a figurative background and an abstract artist that has never painted figuratively. You can kind of tell in their, I guess, the quality of the for whatever quality means, right? The
Yeah.
quality of the paint, the abstraction. If you don't have a figurative background, as opposed to if you do, you have opinion on that at all?
Hmm. I'm not sure. That's a good question. I feel like I would have to like look at some people's work and
Mm-hmm.
then yeah, like
Yeah.
kind of dig into that, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
I
mean,
definitely, I feel like at times I do approach my abstract painting. I don't want to say like I would approach the figure because I don't, because I'm not trying to, paint the figure. But when I think about the layering of the paint,
mm,
and it's definitely something that's in the back of my mind.
so it influences it one way or another.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe a little bit.
Okay. I was just
Yeah.
curious.
hmm
Yeah. Anyway.
I think all those experiences that you had as you were trying to find your way into your current path, I think that that's really interesting. And it's cool that you experienced that because, a lot of people would look at that as not necessarily a good thing, but
Yeah.
it really helped you like figure out what you didn't want to do so that you could figure out what you do want to do.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm definitely the type of person that I need to experience something. It's hard to live that way, but I need to experience it. I need to feel it, right? In order for me to say, oh, yeah, this isn't for me. And I think also just learning to trust yourself, right? This whole time, I was always, I want to be a painter. This is what I want to do. And I just kept pushing that aside. So, but I think it gives me the confidence to go forward to know I tried these other things and it wasn't for me. So that feels good.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's not failure, it's just part of the journey to your success of what you're currently doing, you
Yeah,
know.
absolutely.
I think
Yeah.
a lot of times people get down on themselves because something didn't work out. But you know what? It's all right to experience that and know when to go, all right, it's time for me to pivot or it's time for me to change something, right? And
Yeah.
without those experiences, you might not ever get to where you need to be. So you got to have those. You got to have those things.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, I mean, that's not to say I definitely had all of those feelings every time I would try something, right? Like the photography company, I really put a lot of work into that. And for me to step away and say, this isn't fulfilling me in the way that I want it to, it's really hard because you do feel like a failure, you know? You feel like, oh, here's this other thing that I tried and it didn't work. But you just have to keep going. That's
Yeah.
really it. I mean, that's just life, right?
Yep.
Yeah. hmm
Do you feel as you get more experience and life under your belt that you've become more fearless? Or have you always been fearless?
I think there's always been a part of me that's been pretty fearless. But I think that as I get older, well, gosh, now I'm even more fearless, actually, now that I think about it. Yeah. But in a good way, not in a reckless way. I'm just really learning how to trust myself as I get older. I think that's what it is.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And,
And
just like, this is my life and this is what I want. And I'm going to make it work. hmm
Nice.
you mentioned money before, and I think, for a lot of artists, that's a hard thing because a lot of times you're trading, there's pros and cons to have leading a life as an artist, and sometimes money is or is not part of that equation. Is money very important to you?
I don't think that money is really, really important to me. I mean, obviously we need it to live. And I mean, I don't want to struggle, right? Which is why I do have a day job and I've always had a day job, but I'm not incredibly materialistic. I think for me, making my work is really important to me. And if I have to sacrifice other things and live a little bit more minimally, I'm okay with that. I think that it also does come down to like my values and, once again, nature and the environment and being okay with like not consuming a lot. So I think, that benefits me a little bit because I do feel that way. Hmm.
Makes total sense.
Yeah.
You have a daytime job. Where do you work?
I work at the hospital. I work at Penrose. I'm a CNA, but I do patient transport. So I like move people around the hospital to different appointments.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Like
right on.
MRIs and things like that.
It's an important job.
Yeah. It's very physically demanding, but once again, it's like making that decision. Or right now, I'm okay with having this job because it frees up space in my mind to think about my work, think about creating. I'm in school too, so I'm pretty busy.
Oh,
Nice.
wow.
Yeah.
What are you studying in school?
Yeah. I'm finishing my bachelor's in design and marketing. So I'll be
Oh,
done at the end of this year. Yeah, it's been a long road. I've always wanted to just finish my degree and I'm just going to do it so I can
Good for
check
you.
the box.
yeah, that is
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I applaud you for, sticking with it. And yeah, I mean, seriously, it's like, my wife was one of those non-traditional students that she went back and got her bachelor's in accounting, and it served her well as she was working full time and raising kids and
Yeah.
doing all those other things. So yeah, I mean, it's not an easy task. And so like I said, I applaud you for sticking with it and wanting to finish it,
Yeah.
I think that's
Yeah.
awesome.
I kind of make fun of myself because like I took college classes when I was younger and I remember those older women. I'm back in school. I'm like, oh, I'm that person now.
I was one of those older women going back to school. I went to school at 29. I wasn't a woman though, but I went to school at 29, but I kind of went all in. I lived off campus, but it was full time and then I took a break and got my master's. But yeah, I mean I think sometimes if you go at let's say 18, you don't necessarily appreciate it as much as when you go. I think non-trad students sometimes like just really enjoy the experience and know maybe not know what they want because I still don't know what I want, but you know, but you have a better idea. Like you take it serious, you're paying for it out of your own pocket and not your parents are paying for it, and so you take it
Yeah.
maybe a little bit more serious. I don't know.
Yeah.
Good for you. I always applaud people that, because you're just bettering yourself, even if you don't do anything, even if you, let's say you go into college just to experience a class with a specific professor and stuff. That's
Yeah.
always good. It's always good. Or you go to community art and learn from somebody's, you know, different art techniques. Good for you.
Yeah.
So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah.
That said, you have a ton of stuff on your plate. Do you consider yourself a full-time artist?
Wow. I've never thought about that. I mean, my immediate reaction is no. Like when I think about the hours that I'm spending making work, I would say it's probably 24 hours a week. But yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. I mean, what does that mean to be a full-time artist? I'm producing a lot of work.
Yeah.
I'm really busy. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that.
I,
I had
and
a
there's no wrong answer.
mhm.
I like asking that question because I think that people have in their minds what an artist is supposed to be or look like.
Yeah.
And I can tell you after doing, we've done over 200 episodes. We've talked to people from all over the world that work in different mediums. Everybody does this thing different. But the fact that you're producing all this work, yes, I would consider you a full-time artist. But I'm always curious when I ask that question, what is going to be said?
Mm-hmm.
Um, one of your fellow artists in the art community, Brett Andrus, right?
Yes.
Like he's got a regular day job, but that guy puts in the hours. He works,
Yeah.
I think, as a mortgage broker, and that's
Right.
his day job. He doesn't have to worry about moving or selling art. He's a spectacular artist, and he's definitely dedicated to his, to his practice. But
Hmm.
he's definitely a full-time artist. I would consider you a full-time artist.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Yeah. I mean, I definitely don't have any hesitation about saying I'm an artist. But I guess I just never attached that. Yeah. full-time artist.
So do you remember, and I was thinking this question when Todd was asking, so do you remember the time that you labeled yourself as an artist?
I wouldn't say that I remember the exact moment, but I would say that it's probably happened in the last couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
I feel more, that's probably when I kind of started saying it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's definitely, like, you meet people at a party or wherever and they say, what do you do? And there's still a little bit of like a teeter-totter. I have to decide, well, am I going to say I'm an artist or am I going to say I'm a CNA?
Right.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I feel I'm an artist. I mean, that's what I do, you know.
That's how you
Mhm.
identify
Yeah.
yourself
Yeah.
as an
Yeah.
artist, right?
Yeah.
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 Totally legit.
Yeah. Mhm.
We've touched a little bit on what you do, but I want you to take this time to really describe the kind of work that you do and maybe delve into your process a little bit more if you would.
Yeah. So I'm an abstract painter, but I also combined textile work with that in the sense that I paint on raw canvas and then I cut up the canvas and sew it back together to create a new composition. Right now, the work that I'm making for the show, they're all inspired by quilts in a way. I've never made quilts, but they all have like a square pattern and then I cut them into triangles. So they're all like these geometric shapes. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
And I love that. I think it's interesting, which is why I wanted to have you on the program, is your process, right? And
Yeah.
there's definitely been, even since I've been paying attention to, like your Instagram and stuff, this evolution of the work. I love that you're painting on this canvas and then deconstructing it and, like, for lack of a better description, like collaging your work back together into a
Yeah.
whole other piece, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's interesting. Like last night, I did some paintings. So I don't always stretch the canvas over the frame. Sometimes I'll just lay the canvas like on the table or the floor and then paint on it. And, when I first started painting 5 years ago, before I started cutting them up and sewing them back together, that felt like it was enough, right? Like I made a painting. But now, like I have these canvases sitting out right now, and I'm just ready to take them off the frame and cut them up. Like I'm excited for that part of the process because I know it's going to transform it into something else. Yeah, I like that. And I think I think for me, painting just wasn't enough. I had to combine something else with it. Yeah, almost
Take
like
it,
this form of construction. Mhm.
take it into a whole different direction rather than
Yeah,
just laying
yeah,
paint down and painting something, whether it's, realistic or abstract or what have you.
right. Yeah. Mhm.
And you're using a sewing machine to sew these back together. You do it by hand.
No, it's with a sewing machine.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not a very good one.
A good machine. Yeah.
It's not a very good sewing machine. I need something more industrial. I'm starting to like, my mind is going there. I'm thinking, okay, I think we're ready for it.
Right. Right.
me and
Yeah.
the paintings, as in we.
I mean, that's just part of the evolution, right? You're like, okay, I need a different tool.
Yes,
I have a
absolutely.
vision of what I want this to look like, and it's working for me, but I think it could be better, right?
Yeah,
I think it could be easier or what have you, make my life easier.
yeah. I made some really large scale paintings, and it was challenging with the sewing machine that I have right now. So I'm ready to upgrade.
And I would
Mhm.
imagine sewing on canvas is a little hard on that machine. You know.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, lots of needle, not a lot, but oh, needle broke, change that out. Hmm.
Yeah, what's
Yeah.
interesting is I just opened. Well, I pulled some quilts out, patch quilts out of my cedar chest, and looking for my daughter's star quilt that her grandmother made. And
Mhm.
these are from my great grandmother, and they're all hand sewn patch quilts. And seeing the different and the squares are pretty small, right? So
Yeah.
seeing all the different patterns that she pulled together, the different individual cloth that, shirts or whatever.
Yeah.
It's really kind of cool. So it's interesting. Now I'm sitting here talking to you, and it's seeing in my head, making that connection to somebody who made, patch quilts back in the day and
Yeah.
what you're doing here. That's
Yeah.
cool.
My grandmother, my dad's mom, she made a lot of quilts. So we always had her quilts in our house growing up. I know she had 11 kids. She made all their clothes. And I didn't really know her very well because she only spoke Spanish, but she was definitely a maker.
Mm.
So I have one of her quilts. She's passed away, but I have one of her quilts and I just love looking at it. Like you could see these tiny little hand stitches and yeah, like all the different fabric. Like where is this from? And where was this sourced? So I love textiles. I've always loved textiles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
that's cool.
Quilting is an incredible art, I think. And I think unless you spend some time with it, you don't necessarily have that appreciation. And it's really kind of I'm sure there's people out there still making quilts. In fact, I know there is, but
Yeah.
um, in some ways, I think it's a little bit of a lost art form, right? Like, I don't know where you grew up, but when I grew up in middle school, like sewing was a class that you could take. So you spent a whole semester learning how to sew, and at the end you had something to show for it. I had a rocket pillow that I made in middle school,
Hmm.
um, and it was pretty fun actually.
Yeah.
Um, did you learn the art of sewing from your mom or one of your grandmothers? How did you learn how to sew? Or were you self-taught there too?
I I keep trying to think about this because I don't remember the moment of somebody sitting me down and showing me how to use a sewing machine, but it must have been my mom because I know she had one of my grandmother's old sewing machines. And I vaguely remember her taking out of the garage. And so I was just talking to her about this a few weeks ago, and she couldn't remember either because she doesn't really sew, but it had to have been her. And then I must have just kind of like, I was like, all right, I'm doing this. Yeah. And then people were always giving me their sewing machines.
Oh, really?
Actually, I think the sewing machine that I have now is the first one that I ever bought on my own. People will just find out that I like to sew and they'll be like, oh, I have this old sewing machine. You can have it.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
Not even a collection of sewing machines.
Yeah. So I do also remember being really little and hand sewing. Like I
Mm.
remember trying to make this tiny little vest. It was terrible when I was like hand sewing it together.
But I think that's cool. I think that, the fact that you had that initiative to do something, and even though you didn't really know what you were doing or know how to go about it, you were like, okay, I'm all in. Let's figure
Yeah.
this out.
Yeah. Yeah. I definitely tend to be that way. If I'm excited about something, I'm like, I'm going to learn how to do this. How do we do
Mhm.
this? I can do it. Yeah. Hmm.
I love that. I have a
Yeah.
huge appreciation for people that have that kind of thought process where it's just
Yeah.
like, all right, I'm just going to do this, you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
just
Might
jump
be
in.
terrible. And if you love it enough, you just keep doing it and then you get better. So
Yeah.
just keep going. Hmm.
You talked about your compulsion for always being a maker and, you're a little bit of your journey thus far because we're banking on the fact that you're going to have this illustrious art career moving into the future that someday we can go, oh yeah, we talked to Jes Moran. what does art do for you beyond just the process of this compulsion to make things and create things? What are some of
Yeah.
those things?
I'm thinking about the way that I feel when I finish a piece, and it's just quiet. I think that, well, it definitely brings you like a sense of accomplishment, right? You get to just sit with something that you made and feel stillness. And yeah, I think that's probably the biggest thing, I guess. Yeah, I have to think about that more.
I get the sense that you're a very intuitive person and that that's the way that you operate when it comes to your art practice. Is that true?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Like when I cut up the painting and I'm basically designing this painting now, right? I have all these pieces that I have to put back together. It's like a puzzle, and it feels very intuitive. You just keep going till you get to a place where everything feels right. You stop. You're like, okay, that's it. It's done. It's just a feeling inside, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a quiet feeling. There's no more. Right?
Right.
Yeah. I definitely think that, sometimes I'm looking at the marks and I'm thinking about negative space, like, oh, well, how does that mark look next to that, or the color and the contrast, like those sorts of things as well. But yeah, it's pretty intuitive. hmm And I think that even when I was painting portraits, you still get that same feeling when you're done. You're just looking at it and you think, well, I can't do anything else to it. It's finished.
Yeah.
Yeah. hmm
Yeah. We've talked to artists that they'll sell the painting and they'll go into the home and they'll want to take a paintbrush and touch it up. Remember that, Todd?
Yeah.
That's never done for them. Like they just have to walk away. So,
Yeah. I think you just have to learn to let go.
right.
Yeah, you do. You could work on something forever. You just keep going and going and going. And sometimes something's not going to be 100%. It might be 95%,
Sure.
and it's done.
There you go.
At least for me.
That's a good attitude to have. Yeah.
It is. I think that's absolutely brilliant, right, Wes? Like
Yeah.
to be in tune to your process and who you are and how your emotional state or what have you that says, you know what, we're good. I'm good. We're done.
Yeah.
And be able to just let it go. I think that's pretty amazing, actually.
Yeah. I think having shows and selling work has also helped with that, because you realize sometimes you might not like a piece and you don't want to show it, but you do. And then that's the piece that sells.
Right.
And somebody else loved it, right? And you didn't. So I try to think about that sometimes too, or I might finish something and I think, it's not like I like it, it's good, but it's not my favorite, but just let it go and somebody else might love it. So
Right. Yeah.
try to remember that too.
Yeah. You never know what's going to resonate with somebody. And we've had this conversation so many times, and I've seen it in action, as people have been purchasing a piece that an artist felt like, they weren't really jazzed about, but it struck a chord with that person that saw it and boom.
Yeah. 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 And that's beautiful, right?
Yeah. Didn't get any better than that, right?
Yeah. I'm like, great. Take it away.
That's right. Oh, thank God it's gone. No.
Yeah, lots of letting go for sure.
Yeah. Well, even so you're creating something and then you're letting it go to somebody else. And, Clifford Still kept most of his stuff, right? So, like 95% of the collection he ever painted that the Denver Museum has, something like that.
Yeah.
And so he hardly ever parted with his stuff, right? I think he had a bigger
Oh,
plan. Yeah, and
I didn't know that.
yeah, so it's interesting. So he kept everything, and then if he needed a, the story is if he needed a new Ferrari or what he had, I guess he had a thing about certain cars, and he would sell a painting to
Yeah.
buy a car or whatever, you know. But he had the vast majority of his paintings he kept. So letting go is a big thing. Letting go of the work and the piece, letting go of the piece to sell to somebody else, and so there's all of that. So yeah, letting go is kind of a theme, I guess, for artists, right?
Yeah. I know for me, the more I produce, the easier it is to let go too.
Okay.
Right. I mean, when I wasn't making a lot, then I would really fall in love with something. And I felt like, well, I want to keep it.
Right.
I put so much work into this.
Yeah.
But now I'm happy to see them go to someone who loves it or. Mhm. But back to the Clifford Still thing, do you think that made his work more valuable? Because people, they thought,
Probably.
Absolutely.
we
Yeah,
want to have
because people
this.
weren't buying. Yeah, people weren't buying. Well, he wasn't selling it, so it, you know, to get one was a big deal,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
exactly.
It's like seeing a unicorn, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
he didn't want to play the game of the art world. He wanted to do it on his own terms,
right.
and he'd never felt like his gallery representation or museums that were showing his work were doing it justice as far as the way it was curated and presented. And
Oh,
so I think he decided, you know what, screw it. I'm just going to tap out and I'm just going to do my own thing. And then, like Wes said, he would sell a painting when he needed the money. But um, outside of that, again, first and foremost, he was making the work for himself.
Yeah.
yeah.
And that's why we're so lucky to have that museum here in Denver is because he had stipulated to his widow, his wife, that wherever the work ended up, it all had to be kept together. And he had like this whole plan for how it should be presented and all that. So pretty interesting.
Yeah, and they had to negotiate because they did sell some pieces to build the building and all that, but they had to negotiate that with his widow, like how many pieces they were willing to sell. And I think they still can sell, they still sell pieces from time to time, but very rarely, I believe. I believe anyway. So, yeah. So it's interesting.
Have
Yeah.
you, have you been to Clifford still?
I haven't been
Oh,
there.
you got to go.
I
You would,
know it's on my list.
Yeah.
you would
Yeah.
love it. You should
Mhm.
you should grab an art buddy and make a trek up to Denver and make a
Yeah,
day of it.
absolutely. Yeah. Hmm.
So my favorite Clifford Still story, personal one, is we were interviewing Dean Sobel, and he was the curator of from the very beginning, the curator of the Clifford Still Museum, and Todd and I were wrapping it up, and I'm like, God, I need to go there. And Todd was like, dude, we went like a couple years ago. Like, what? And I had to verify with my wife because I didn't believe him. And she goes, oh, yeah, we went and seen his stuff. And so then recently, my wife and I were down in Denver, and unfortunately, Todd couldn't join us, but we went to the still and
Okay.
to see it again, right? And then it
Yeah.
kind of started to come back to me, but yeah, I'd seen it and forgot.
Oh
So
no. Well, I'm
anyway.
glad you went back.
I did. I am too, and I will go back again. Well, they're always changing the pieces, and they'll mark like there was the last time they have these little orange stickers, right? And
Yeah.
those indicated this is the first time of in public viewing, like they've been stored, and so they'll hang new pieces and then rehang pieces on a regular basis, but they always indicate which ones had never been shown before in public. So that was fun. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, you would love the Clifford Still stuff.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah,
I love his work.
yeah,
Yeah. Hmm.
and to see it up close and personal,
Yeah.
it was like
Hmm.
Barnett Newman. I went to DC and seen Barnett Newman stuff, and once again, when you don't know anything about art, you're like, I can do it, but to see it is just absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
So, what size do you start your canvases? And when you're painting, when you're doing the initial painting, what size are you painting on?
So whatever size the final piece is going to be, like the ones that I did last night, I think that's probably maybe a 16 by 20. I The painting is 16 by 20. Yeah.
Okay.
And then, I cut it up, and sometimes I don't use the whole painting. Some pieces might not make it in.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes I'll do a second painting, and then I'm also adding in unpainted pieces of canvas, like just raw canvas as well.
Okay.
So
Gotcha.
yeah, it just depends whatever the final piece is going to be.
So you paint this 16 by 20 canvas and then you deconstruct it. You're not mixing canvases together? Like you'll paint like this canvas and this canvas and this deconstructive and then rearrange and taking pieces from other ones from like, let's say the other two, or are you just sometimes? Okay.
It's just one painting,
Okay.
but like looking at the ones up here, there are a couple different paintings. Actually, that's not totally true because I have this this one behind me is 6 by 5 feet. And that one, yeah, that's like a few different smaller paintings.
Okay.
Yeah. So, or this 5 by 4, that was like two smaller paintings.
Gotcha.
So yeah, sometimes I guess if it's a smaller painting, then it's usually just the size.
Okay.
But if it's a bigger painting, then it's like a few different small paintings.
Right. Well, that's kind of what I assumed you did, but so it's interesting to hear what your process. So
yeah, sometimes I definitely I prefer to do different paintings and then bring those together. There's just more of variation in the end result, as opposed to just doing one painting. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then adding the raw canvas in there, that's interesting too. I wouldn't have thought of that.
Yeah, I just take raw canvas and cut it into the squares and the triangles and add that. It adds a lot of really nice negative space and yeah.
And then you don't paint after. Once it's assembled with your sewing machine into your geometric shapes, you don't paint over it again.
No, that's it.
Okay.
Yeah. Then I just stretch it back over the frame and it's done.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Occasionally I'll see something and I'll think, should I paint over that? But I never do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What's that thing that stops you from doing that?
I think I'm worried that I'm going to paint over it and like get paint on part of the raw canvas. I don't know. I'm just going to change it. And for the most part, once I finish designing the painting and then I start sewing it together, like that's it. It's done. I feel pretty confident that after I'm done with the design, it's done. It's basically like I've completed the painting. Now I just need to sew it together. Yeah.
So the painting process, are you using brushes or is it literally like using like a sponge with diluted paint that you just let run over a portion of the canvas?
Yeah, I use both. I use lots of different size brushes, and then I also use sponges. That's pretty much it.
So most of the time it's almost like a stain, like you don't see like brush strokes or anything. It's not thick. So
it's not thick, but sometimes I'll use like a dry brush well, the brush is dry and like the bristles are spaced apart. So I might just be like lightly dipping it in the stain so you can see the brush marks.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's different techniques to use. You can pour the paint and let it soak in and then pour more colors on top or bring the colors together, right? Like stain a portion and then stain another portion and they kind of leak together, or dry brush. I definitely feel like depending on what I'm gonna do with the painting, like how much water do I want to add to the paint, right? Like, do I want it to be a little bit thicker? Do I want the color to be more saturated? Do I want this to be a little bit more washy? So those are all things that I'm thinking about.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
And again, just kind of going off feeling, right? Like, what am I feeling in this moment as far as if I want it to be thicker or thinner or use the brush or let it
Yeah.
run?
Yeah. I mean, the pieces that I made last night before I started them, I knew that I wanted to use just the sponge. I wanted them to be a little bit more loose and a little bit more washy. I knew that I wasn't going to use a lot of brushes with them. So I guess but it's still intuitive, right? Like once I start the painting, I'm not doing sketches or anything like
Right.
that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
And then the design process, because some of these pieces are pretty large,
Yeah.
like what does that look like? I mean, do you just cut out all these pieces and then you start laying them out? I mean, what is that process?
Yeah. So for the bigger pieces, after I cut the triangles out, I actually tape them to the wall. So I'm just like I'm taping all these pieces onto the wall and then stepping back and looking at it and moving them around. I think I have a time lapse on my Instagram of me doing one
Oh,
of them if anyone wanted to actually see it. But yeah, it's just a lot of moving all the pieces around and taping them and yeah, like I said, till I get to a point where I feel like that's good. It feels balanced. I like to play with like sometimes there might be a triangle that has like a brush mark on it or there's like some white negative space and I want to line that up with just a blank piece of canvas so that it creates like different shapes and it's not just a hard edge. I don't know if that makes sense, but
mhm. Yeah.
there's just like all sorts of things to think about.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
It's incredibly interesting to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. I find it fascinating. I mean, this is what I love about this podcast is that, we're talking to people from all over that work in different mediums. And I'm just always curious, like, either A, what's the catalyst that put them on this trajectory to do this particular work, or what the thought behind it, what was that seed and
Yeah.
how people's brains work, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely.
I think that's pretty fascinating.
Yeah. Yeah. And so before I was doing the geometric paintings, I was still cutting them up and sewing them back together, but they were a lot of like round shapes and they were all different.
Yeah.
Yeah, which
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that work as well. And
Right.
Yeah.
obviously, we're going to talk about this
Let's do
newer
that.
work that you've been doing. I'm going to pull up a piece that I really love. This is from a couple of years back, but this shows some of your previous work that you're still, it looks like sewing different facets of paintings together. This piece is really extraordinary.
Thank you. Yeah. This is actually one of my favorite pieces as well. And no one ever bought this one.
Are you
And
serious?
yeah. And I just love I loved these pieces. You
Is
know
this
what's
one
interesting? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
is this one called Desert Dwellers? Is that the title? I see it's on the list
Yeah.
there. Okay.
Yeah. Hmm. And my old work, so you see that purple border around the edge.
Mm-hmm.
I painted that, like I stretched it over the frame and then I painted on it afterwards. So the older work, I was painting on it again.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas this new stuff, I'm not. Hmm.
And people that are listening, you can find this on Jess's Instagram. But yeah, Desert Dwellers, good point, Wes.
Thank you.
These are 8 by 8 each piece or total?
Yeah. Each piece is 8 by 8.
Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah, I just love the palette, and I don't know, there's something very calming about it.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. And I thought it looked really nice as a diptych, but
Mm-hmm.
I think, gosh, I think these were in my show a couple of years ago.
Okay.
I don't know. I can't remember.
Sure.
Hmm.
And you still have these pieces, it sounds like.
Yeah, I
Okay.
do still have those pieces.
I like them. They're beautiful. They have this Southwest feel to them. I mean, obviously it's the red color, right? And I love the fact that you sewed them in the circle. That sewn edge is relevant, and it's really fun.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I love Utah. I love the Southwest.
Yeah.
There's definitely some inspiration happening there. Hmm. Yeah, and these ones I had done some top stitching. So that curve, I top stitched that so you can see that's kind of why there's like that harder edge on there.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what is a top stitch for us that don't know sewing?
So like it's funny when when I talk about this with people because I
Mhm.
don't consider myself a seamstress or
Right,
something like
right,
that,
right.
even when it comes to sewing terms, but you can see the stitch on the top
Okay,
of the fabric
okay,
as opposed to like sewing two pieces together and then you open it up and you just see the seam.
okay. Gotcha. All right.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah. Yeah. Like right below that, you just see the seam of
Gotcha.
where it
Yep.
was sewn together.
Yep.
Yeah. You don't see the stitching. So,
Still done by a machine.
yeah, all
Yeah.
of my work is done with a sewing
Okay.
machine.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
And we're looking at the second image of it where we're seeing a close up of the top stitch and the seam. Yeah, it's really interesting.
Yeah. And then you also, like with that top stitch, you have that raw edge of the canvas.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit more rough. It's not as clean.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the new work, I definitely wanted to do top stitching on the new work, but I kind of held back from it just because it's a lot of extra labor and these pieces were really big. Like I said before, I think that I need a more industrial sewing
Mm-hmm.
machine. So there'll definitely be some more top stitching in
Nice.
the
Nice.
future. Yeah.
Now, you talked about how you're influenced by the Southwest. Is that a common theme, at least in the earlier work, or nature just in general? Because I know that you love to get outside. You're a rock climber yourself.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, I think that having the photography company, like I did elopement photography and couples in nature. And so there was a lot of getting up really early and watching, chasing light and watching the light and the colors. And being in Colorado, it's kind of hard to not be inspired by nature, our
Yeah.
sunsets and our colors. It's just all around us.
I'm gonna pull up another image of some various pieces. These are from a few years ago.
Oh, wow.
These are on canvas as well. Yeah, I was making the paintings and then sewing them and then I was actually doing a lot of painting on top of it after I stretched it.
I like these. These are kind of from the 90s edge, has this kind of 90s vibe to it, which is kind of cool.
Oh, somebody else said that once, like these little water cups from the 90s with like where are those
Oh,
from?
yeah. Yeah.
They kind of have like these teal and purple colors or
Yeah. I think
something.
they were like Dixie cups, kind of. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Somebody mentioned that once.
And I think of like a album cover of Duran Duran.
Yeah.
Interesting.
The
Where your
color
brain
scheme.
went there, man.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but no, I love these. They're so beautifully colored. And
Yeah, thank
yeah,
you.
yeah, those are cool.
It
Yeah,
just
like that
brings,
curve there, that's all sewn together, that edge.
okay, this curve that
Mhm.
we're seeing right through here.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
yeah, this actually reminds me of flowers. That's where my brain goes. Like
Mm.
if you're looking into a garden of, various flowers, irises.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I love
Yep.
hearing what people see because I don't see anything.
Right.
Like I don't look at it and see something, but I get that a lot. People tell me what they see.
Yeah. So
Hmm.
you're not, when you're putting these together, you don't necessarily, I mean, you're thinking about all these other facets, but you're not like seeing something. You're not looking at it and go, oh, this feels like the one that the desert dwellers that we had up previous. You're not
Hmm.
you're not necessarily thinking in that moment, oh, this is like a canyon that I would experience in Moab or
No. If
Okay.
anything, I think I try to avoid that.
Mm,
Yeah.
interesting.
I don't want to, it's like I don't want to see anything in it. I don't know what that is, but yeah, so it's fun to see, people will say, I see a bird or a cat. There's a little cat there,
Right.
flowers, all kinds of things. Hmm.
Well, I think that's part of being just open to the art, right? You're more open to the art that it is what it is and not something, we anamorphize everything anyway, right? We
Yeah.
give it human
Yeah.
elements. And not that that's the same thing as seeing animals in the clouds, but something like that.
Hmm.
You know, no, that's cool. Yeah. And I think that's what makes your art, unique to what you're doing is you're not thinking of the Southwest. Like I just seen an artist in Sheridan, Wyoming, who he takes pictures of the Southwest and different places, and then he does abstracts from those. And
Uh,
you can definitely kind of get that feeling like, oh, I can see where he sees this. So kind of the opposite thing where he's trying to emulate landscape. You're doing something that's pure, just the art that you're seeing as you're creating it.
yeah.
So
I mean, I guess now that you say that, I might pull up a photo, but I might pull up a photo because I like the colors
right.
in that, not necessarily what the subject is.
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah.
do you sit with your paintings after they're finished? Do you have thoughts after the fact?
Hmm, maybe a little bit. Um, I mean, I don't title them until afterwards. So I have to dig in there a little bit after they're done, to title them. Titling paintings is weird for me.
I was just going to ask you about that. Like some people
Yeah.
like are really into the whole title aspect of it. They think that it really adds something to the piece and they spend a lot of time obsessing about that
Yeah.
particular thing. And other people are like, yeah, it's really difficult and sometimes I just
Yeah.
go with whatever pops in my head or whatever.
Yeah. I think that, well, I mean, a title, it's going to evoke some sort of emotion,
Right.
I feel. And then I feel like so then I'm telling the viewer how they should feel or giving them a path to go
Right.
on, what to think about it.
Yeah. And I think for some viewers, I'd like to kind of have an idea when I'm looking at somebody's art. If they give me a title, I like that because it gives me an idea of what I'm supposed to be seeing. Right. And I
Okay.
need to be kind of led there. I mean, not that I can't sit there and look at something and let it evoke itself onto me, like let me invoke on it or whatever, that
Yeah.
relationship between me and the painting. But I also like that relationship between the artist and the painting.
Yeah.
So, but
Yeah. I think I try to find kind of like a middle ground.
mhm.
It's kind of vague. Like, here's the title, but it's not.
Like the piece that's behind you, have you titled that one yet?
No.
Okay. I was just going to
Mm-mm.
say, so like one of your most recent pieces, like what's an example of a title that just kind
Yeah.
of came to you after you were done?
Well, I only have a couple of these pieces titled.
Okay. Okay.
Um, One of them, this teal one over here, you can't see it, but maybe I can. That
Oh,
one there.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
That one is under the surface.
Under the surface. Okay. I'm just trying to get a feel of what you title stuff, and I'm sure I can go through your Instagram and you probably label them, but
I
yeah.
think a lot of my old titles reference nature a lot.
Okay. Yeah.
And I mean, this new collection of work, I feel like there are a lot of different things that I could say about it. Sewing, women's work, unseen labor. I came from a blue collar family. My dad is a mechanic. My mom was a cashier. There's so many different ideas that I have about why I chose to make this work. Yeah, so I don't know. Titling it is challenging.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I can
so
see
so
that.
like that one, Under the Surface, there were kind of two different thoughts that I had with that. It does, if we're talking about nature, like it does have like a nature element. It feels kind of like an ocean.
Mm-hmm.
So there is like that idea of like being under the surface in the ocean. But then under the surface, I was thinking, I'm really excited about the backs of the paintings
Mm,
because you can see the sewing, you can see the imperfections. And I was thinking a lot about um just how women, we're mothers and we work, and there's a lot that we do that goes unseen.
right.
And so that's where that title came from. But I don't know, sometimes I kind of shy away from getting too deep into like these concepts around the work. I,
Right.
I don't know why. I
No,
don't
it's
want
a,
to push that on people. And if that's a conversation that comes up, then we can go into it. But
well,
yeah.
and there's artists that don't like to talk about their pieces, in the gallery, right? They want the viewer to come away with what they get from it, and they don't really care to share what they think of it, because they kind of like what you said. Like if I tell the viewer what it is, then they're going down a certain path where maybe they would have went a different way, and what is evokes from them, right? And
Yeah.
I think that's great. There's nothing wrong with that. I think either
Yeah.
way is fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's like, which road are we going to take? I'm good with either one. But
I
yeah.
don't. We interviewed Joey Curlin, and he does collage work, and other things, but he does collage work, and there's usually some kind of text in it, right? And
Hmm.
it could be something like, and then the rat people came or something, and you look at it as like, there's no rats in this, and it's a woman, and whatever, and so
Hmm.
you're trying to like, okay, what does this mean? And then on top of that, he entitles it something completely different, like
Oh,
so it's not entitled, and then the right people come, right? That's what I would do because it's so obvious, the words are already in there, that's the title of the piece.
right.
And then his title is interesting because then you're trying to figure out like, what the hell does that mean?
I
So
love
it
that.
gives you options, right? As a viewer,
Yeah.
like, I see text in his piece. I see text, the name of the piece. And so now I'm trying to like work all these things out in my head. Plus, what am I getting from it? And it's kind of interesting. So
Yeah,
the naming
absolutely.
thing is really interesting too. And I'm glad Todd brought that up because it is an interesting element to, another element to the painting, right?
Right. Yeah. Hmm.
For me, titles when I'm looking at work is I'm trying to get into that artist's head. And we've, talked about this a billion times on the podcast too, is that, when people purchase art, not only does it have to resonate with them, but a lot of times it's not just about the piece. A lot of times it's about they're interested in the person that produced it, that created
Hmm.
that particular work. And so they want a piece of Jes Moran that hangs in their living room or what have you, right?
Yeah.
And I think that titles for me, that's kind of what they do. I'm trying to get into the head of that
Oh,
person that I'm viewing their work. For me, it's almost like, and this might seem like a stretch for some people, but I'm a very astute observer of like human nature and how people like I'm always looking at the little nuance of what makes a person, right? So
yeah.
like I don't know if you do this or not, but when you go to somebody's house and it's like the first time that, you've ever been there and you kind of look around and you see like what kind of books they read or what kind of music they listen to. It kind of feels a little like that for me. Like
Oh,
what is being presented and what clues about that person are
yeah.
in there, whether it's the piece and the title can be part of that as
Yeah.
well.
Oh, I love that so much. That I feel like that's just like shifted my whole perspective. Well, I don't know. I make it, right? And I don't know. It's just nice to hear that part of it. Hmm.
I love the fact that you're not so attached to any of these pieces per se. Like And I don't say that in a bad way. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, obviously you probably have some attachment. I mean, you create them. They're like your
Yeah.
children, right? Like
Yeah. I have my
you,
favorites.
yeah, for sure. Right.
You get ice cream later, you don't. I'm just kidding. That's terrible.
You caused me a lot of problems today. I don't quite like you yet. Go in
Funny.
timeout for a
I'm
little
going to
bit.
flip you over. I'm not going to look at you for a while.
Yeah.
Right.
I love that you made this post on Instagram, and you're really great with your Instagram with the things that you share. And
No, thank you.
I love seeing what you're working on, but I also like the vulnerability, the vulnerableness that you present of yourself. You know, your recent post talking about all the things you did before you.
Yeah.
I think that's really smart.
Thanks.
And sharing little details about your life because again, people are curious. They're
Yeah.
interested. The people that aren't artists, I think, have this idea of what being an artist working in their studio is like. They don't
Yeah.
see all the other things, that are, it's not like you have this one art life where you're just in the studio all the time creating. You have all these other things that everybody else, you have to deal with just like everybody else, whether it's personal or job stuff or, the just the regular nuance of the mundane in your life,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. Oh gosh. Yeah. Yeah. I'm just a regular person.
And I think people build it up as being this big glamorous thing, which it's pretty fantastic that you have the ability and desire to do this. That is the glamour part of it. But they're
Yeah.
not seeing you after you've done, I don't know how long your shifts are, but when you do a long shift at the hospital or whatever, and then you come home and you're like, you know what? I really need to get on,
Yeah.
a piece or, even if
Right.
you're dead ass tired, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. There's definitely afternoon coffee some days. Yeah. Or just you're just working tired. You're just tired. And you have to still do it. You still have to show up, and yeah, I think you're right. I mean, I think I romanticized the idea of being an artist for a long time before I actually like had a regular practice and getting ready for the show. I'm not going to lie, it's a lot of hard work and there's a lot of time where I'm tired, you know. And I think I'm getting a little bit better at recognizing, okay, I'm going to spend a few hours in the studio and then I'm going to get outside and I'm going to take my dog for a hike or I'm going to go out with a friend. And you have to take breaks. It's not sustainable to just keep working all the time.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm just a person. Yeah.
I'm glad you spoke to that because you do have to have other interests and things that you do outside of the creative realm, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of those things actually add to that creativity in some way, shape, or form. So, what are some of the other activities outside of? We talked about you being a rock climber
Yeah.
and getting out and hiking with your dog. Do you have other hobbies or other things that you do?
Yeah. I actually just took a pottery class, like a
Nice.
wheel throwing pottery class. I had done that 20 years ago, but it was just something I wanted to do. So that was fun. I I love to travel. I was just in LA. I was in Joshua Tree. Went to LA with my son and his girlfriend. I just love seeing new places. I'll get on the map and I'll zoom in and like look at the landscape and what's there and how do I get there? So things like that. Yeah, I really love being outside.
Yeah.
That's a big one. So hiking, I've done a lot of backpacking, camping, really gotten into rock climbing the last year and a half. That's something I've always wanted to do. And I kind of did it on and off over the years, but the last year and a half, I really got into it. I became LEED certified so I could climb outside. And yeah, just, enjoying. I like to try new things. I think that's important to me. New
Hmm.
restaurants, new coffee shops, love to go to bookstores. Um, yeah.
What do you like to read, or what are you on the hunt for when you're in a bookstore?
Well, I mean, I love art books. Yeah, like I love architecture books. I just bought this really I'm really into small home design, and that's like something that I really want to move out to Joshua Tree and buy some land and like a small home. So I've been buying a lot of architecture books, and I just bought this one in LA. Yeah, it's just like small home design. hmm
Cool.
Very
So
cool.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
an interesting area too of California, you know, the Joshua Tree area. And it's someplace I really haven't spent any time. It's someplace I would love to go
yeah.
explore. There's a lot of weird subcultures out there in the desert that I would love to go explore as a photographer. Like,
Right.
you
Oh, you have to
know, going to,
go. You've never been at all,
I've
ever?
never been.
Oh,
Nope.
you gotta go. There's just something like, I swear, when you enter that town, you just feel it.
Is
But
that
I don't,
right?
yeah. Have you been there?
I've not been to Joshua Tree. That's what's weird, right? Because I used to live in LA.
Oh, right.
Yeah. I mean, even
Yeah.
as an adult, I lived in LA, but yeah, never made it to the desert like that.
Yeah.
Sequoia and stuff like that. But
hmm
yeah,
Yeah, I love the desert. I don't know. There's just something about it.
right.
hmm Yeah.
That photo that I had pulled up where you show the back of the piece with all the, you know, all the messiness, you know, it's so immaculate on the front, right?
Yeah.
I
hmm
love I love seeing the back of that. I think that's brilliant that that you
Right?
were willing to share that. And I
Yeah.
mean, I feel like it's a good metaphor in some way, right? Like
Yeah.
of how life is, you know?
Oh my gosh. No kidding. Right? It's like, even, or that makes me think of social media too.
Yeah,
It's
that's what I
this,
was thinking.
we present this surface level of, this is how my life is. And that's not it. Like
Yeah.
there's so much more. Yeah. And I had to actually, I think it was after I made the first, yeah, after I finished the first painting, I fell in love with the back. And I really had to hold back. Like I wanted to just say, okay, I'm just going to show the back. Like that's what this is going to be. And I had to restrain myself. Yeah.
I think it's
There's,
cool though. Yeah.
yeah.
Go ahead, Todd. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry I interrupted you, Wes. There's just a beauty to it, I think. And yeah. Again, I think you're really smart with your social media. And I didn't realize till recently, because when I looked at your social media recently, I was like, I thought she posts more than that. So you did archive some of your stuff on there. Is that what you did? Or
Yeah. I archived quite a few. And I think that, that's just one of those things where I feel like a lot of people struggle with that. What should I share? What should I not share? I'm trying to establish myself as an artist. And I feel like I don't know, this is just maybe my own idea that I came up with, but in order to, like, if a gallery wants to work with you, they need to know that you're consistent and that you're, consistent in your work. And so a lot of my old work is different. I mean, I guess you can see the evolution of it, but I'm like, oh, maybe I shouldn't show that.
I
Yeah.
I think it's compelling when I find when I get turned on to a new artist, I really deep dive. I go, you know, sometimes they
All the way
have, you
down.
know, like 2,500 posts or something. And, you know, I kind of like to
Yeah.
go all the way to the very beginning when they started posting just to kind of
Yeah.
see where the work is or was, and then see the evolution over time. And then even then, it might be another couple years before I'll do any outreach to see an artist
Okay.
because I kind of want to see like where they're going, you know?
Yeah.
And kind of like what you said with the whole gallery thing, I want to see that they're consistently like moving in a direction. It doesn't
Right.
matter what direction, but I want to see that there's some evolution going on, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. Okay. That's good feedback. Maybe I'll go back and yeah, I mean, well, 2021, that's when I started painting on paper and I was posting then. I was posting a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I had a friend here, Chelsea Boucher in the Springs. She had it was called The Space and it was at State Farm Insurance, like downtown, but she was like curating artwork in there. And I remember she reached out to me and she was like, "Do you want to show?" And I told her no. I just wasn't ready.
Sure.
I was just like painting on paper and I actually told a couple people no. I was
That's
like,
funny.
no, I can't show this. I'm just goofing off.
So tell what kind of paper did you paint on? Let's talk about that just briefly. Like when you said I'm painting on paper.
It was like watercolor paper or
Okay.
like a thicker.
Sure.
Yeah. But it was just cheap stuff. It
Right.
wasn't, you know. Yeah, it was fun though. I mean, I still have a lot of that work, actually.
So
Archived.
was it a way to cut your teeth into what you're doing now? Like was it is that the elevation? Obviously you've evolved to this from that. That's a
Yes.
given. But
Yeah.
you're able to work in a way that you're not, it's somewhat disposable. Even if you don't throw it away, it's disposable and you can practice technique and what color's doing and in relationship to other color, that kind of thing, maybe.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that, art, I mean, it's expensive to make art.
Yeah.
And so I think that when you're starting out, that can kind of hold you back
Yeah.
because you buy these art supplies and then you make something and you don't want to mess it up and there's just all this attachment to it, right? And so then here you are like 2 months in with one painting and you don't want to let go of it or you've spent all this money and I didn't want that. Like I wanted to just create and I wanted to get into the habit of creating regularly. And so for me, that was the best way to do that was just, well, I'm just going to paint on paper and I don't have
Right.
to worry about it.
Right.
Yeah. I mean,
And
like you think about like oil painters, like oil paints are expensive.
Yeah.
Nice brushes. Yeah.
Yeah.
so it was a learning process, but it was also the process of just creating without necessarily um, being attached to any particular thing.
Yeah. It wasn't like I just wanted to create. I just made the decision. I said, I'm going to be an artist. I'm going to be a painter, and it's not like I was making these paintings on paper thinking, oh, I'm going to show these or I'm going to sell these. I guess it was just for me,
Right.
it was just for me. And just doing the thing that I always wanted to do, just finally saying yes to that.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah.
beautiful.
I'm going to pull up this other piece, which I think is pretty spectacular. This is called Beyond Myself.
Mm.
This is a really beautiful piece. And again, I love this palette that you're utilizing, which is so different compared to the most of the new work that I've seen thus far,
Right.
right?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, I think that my colors are pretty bold still, but I feel like I've toned it down a little bit.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, that's this piece actually. I love the middle portion, but then I added that gradient on the edges and I felt like I lost it.
Mm.
And
Interesting.
yeah, this was one of those pieces where I almost didn't show it. But then I did and it sold. So there you
Nice.
go.
There
Yeah.
you go. I
Yeah.
love that gradient of that color. Like
Yeah.
yeah, it's something that really resonates with me.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So I can see why why this piece sold.
Yeah.
Again, there's so much stuff going on, I feel like I'm looking at almost like a collage photograph.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like to me.
Oh, yeah. I could see that. Yeah.
The piece in this that I really love is the bottom centerpiece, the bottom part,
Hmm.
because it very landscape-ish. And I'm always attracted to landscape as a landscape photographer kind of thing. And
Yeah.
I love, it looks like the sun, and then it looks like you got this purple horizon, right? And then there's this little black dot in there that looks like maybe that's a tree way off in the distance. I
Oh
mean,
my,
that's what I'm
it
seeing.
does.
That's
Yeah.
Yeah.
exactly where my brain went,
Yeah.
Wes. You're like
I love that.
inside my head describing this.
I love that part. I just like
Yeah.
once again, I'm gravitating towards landscape stuff, right? I'm
Yeah.
not, I mean, I love people photography and stuff like that, but landscape is where it's at for me, Ansel Adams and all that kind of stuff, right?
Right.
And this is just so much fun. I love this. Yeah. That's my favorite part of that piece. So for what it's worth.
I love that you point. I never, so that's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't really notice that down there, but now, yeah, it's like this little tree way off in the distance.
Now that's all you'll see for a while.
I know, I'm like, oh, there's that tree.
And
Damn
the
Wes. Damn him. He ruined my painting.
and the top part, Wes, don't you think that that top part kind of feels like there's like a cloudscape,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
and I love the negative space. I love your use of negative
Yes.
space.
Yes.
Mhm.
You're doing it
Yes.
really well. So
Thank you.
this is a question I was going to ask earlier, and then I got off track on some other tangent. But what do you think makes good abstract art, in your
Mm.
opinion?
Oh gosh.
Because
Um,
there's definitely a difference. I've seen plenty of phenomenal, great abstract work,
yeah.
and then some not so great. And and here's the thing: people know when something is good, even if you don't know what abstract
Yeah. Yeah.
work, what is good. They know when it's good, like intuitively, like they feel it, right?
Mhm.
Um, but from somebody that does abstract work and probably do you look at other abstract work very much?
Yeah. Yeah, I do. Yeah. I mean, I look at all types of art, but yeah, I look at abstract work. I look at a lot of like older painters, right, from history. I feel like more than new artists, abstract work.
Hmm.
But yeah, what do I feel? What was the question? What do I feel makes a good abstract piece?
Yeah, is there something that stands out to you? And I think what you just said was really smart, because I think people think that abstract work, they jump into it thinking it's going to be really easy, but I actually would um, beg to differ and say that it's probably some of the most difficult work to produce and do it well.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny because I never thought I would make abstract work. Um, I don't know. I just thought, no, that's not me. Um, and sometimes I kind of hesitate when people ask me what kind of work I make, because I feel like when people hear that you're an abstract artist, they kind of cringe a little. I don't know. Maybe that's just like this fear that I have inside, but they're like, oh, is she any good? you know? But gosh, what makes abstract for me? I mean, I love color. So color and movement and what kind of marks, like variation and mark, texture. Yeah, use of negative space. I mean, I use that a lot. Layering, I guess like I feel like you're able to see a level of skill, right?
Hmm.
Like, how are they layering the paint, or what kind of, yeah, because I don't know if I'm explaining myself very well and like thinking about it in my head. Like I'm picking apart the painting when I see like an abstract piece. Yeah. I don't
As I
know.
think you should, either on a conscious or subconscious level. I think that that's part of it. And I think everything that you said is totally valid. Like you're thinking about all these different, it's not just you're not just grabbing color and just throwing it on a canvas. There's thought behind it. Whether
Right.
it's again, whether you're doing it intuitively or if it's a conscious like, okay, I'm definitely using this color in this, you know, part of the painting, or I'm
Yeah.
piecing it together this particular way because I
Yeah.
think that it works better, with either the negative space or form, or it has that
Hmm.
movement that I'm going after that I kind of feel like it needs, right?
Yeah. I'm also really drawn to abstract work where it looks like once again they were able to like really let go and kind of like tap into this. I don't know what the word is. I don't know, just like part of themselves that's like almost like a feral or something, you know?
Hmm.
Yeah, I love Joan Mitchell's work. I love her work. It's beautiful.
I think part of it too is, as we're having this conversation, is being comfortable in your own skin and knowing yourself on some level. And I feel like you
Yeah.
know yourself. You seem like a person that knows themselves. And so everything that you do is very, what's the word I want to use? Very well thought out, for lack of a
Mhm.
better description. It's thought about, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
I went
Mhm.
out on First Friday, and my wife is not an artist.
Mhm.
She appreciates art now, but part of that is because I drag her to galleries all the time to look at art, right? Because we have this
Mhm.
podcast. And so by osmosis and default, she has a really good eye now, and she has a really good sense of what's good and what's not good.
Yeah.
And we went into this gallery and there is some abstract work, and I looked at it, and I'm never going to hammer anybody on the fact that they created work, because I think the fact that they just even created something is a beautiful like thing to do, right?
Yeah.
And hopefully it gave them joy, and it gives them something to look forward to, and it gives their life meaning. So in that aspect, I have an appreciation for anything and everything that's being created,
Yeah.
whatever the level of the artist, right?
Mhm.
And art is for everybody. There's no right or wrong, but you're allowed to have an opinion. And as
Yeah.
we were walking out, she goes, "Yeah, that abstract work in the back, it wasn't very good." She's like, "But, I don't know anything about art." I'm like, "That's baloney, because you've been looking at art for the last 5, 6 years with me as we've been doing this podcast, and you're so willing to come out and give it a chance." And I said, "What you said is completely valid. Like,
Mhm.
um, I didn't think it was very well executed.
Yeah.
It just
Mhm.
wasn't." And but she, sensed that. She had that,
Mhm.
like, "Yeah, that's not very good abstract work." And I'm like, "Yeah, it's totally what you just said was totally valid." And it's not going to be everybody's cup of tea either. So there's that too. But um, the fact that she recognized, and I almost wanted to, had I been feeling a little bit better, I almost wanted to, I should revisit that conversation of why she didn't feel that it was really all
Oh,
that,
Yeah.
you know?
yeah. I love that. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, it's like she's tuning in, even if she doesn't fully realize it yet.
Yeah. Yeah. It
Yeah.
was beautiful. It was one of those
Yeah.
moments where I'm like, hey, you're totally getting it. Like, you
That's
don't have to
cool.
be, you don't have to be an art critic, or
Mhm.
somebody that has a art history degree to appreciate it.
Mhm.
Your opinion is as valid as anybody else's. So that's totally allowed,
Yeah. And I think sometimes people, it's like they're afraid of abstract work
Yeah.
if they're not really into art or
I
something
don't,
like that. They don't know a lot about art.
yeah, I think part of it is you don't understand it. Like,
Yeah.
so, and we've talked about this to ad nauseum, but since you were first talking, like when I first, like I took art in college and all that, and we had to write, pieces, art appreciation stuff. And
Hmm.
I didn't like Mondrian. I didn't like Jackson Pollock. I didn't like, because I was all into like John Singer Sargent or, that kind of stuff, the realism, right? Even though
Yeah.
there's a lot of abstract in his work, you don't know it until you start like reading about it, right? But then doing this podcast, you're like, you get exposed and then you start talking to the artists that are making abstract art and they're explaining their process or what they're thinking. And then all of a sudden it's like, holy crap, I can look at a Mondrian now and just be amazed at what he did and then like spend some time with it and you go, holy crap, he stopped at the edge of the frame and why wouldn't you've just gone over it? Or there's this little patch of color in a Clifford still that is like holds the piece or brings the piece together and it's just like one little mark and this whole thing if you didn't have it there would be not, still a great piece but this little mark that seems like a mistake at the moment you're looking at it and you're like this is what draws us together like for me and I'm sure it's different for other people but once you the whole talking to 200 artists and you start to appreciate most people's work. Now I see people's stuff and it's still hard to like I just don't see what you got, or it's poor art and they spin the canvas. You're like, okay, that's cool. And there's some really cool effects, but what are you telling me? Like, is this expression? Is this some kind of expression to you? Or just maybe it's color theory, maybe they're laying down certain colors, but sometimes it's just like, or you fill a paint bucket and then you attach it with a rope and
Oh,
then you let
yeah.
it go over this big canvas in this kind of circular way. And how much is that? Still abstract art in a sense, but is it expressive? Is it just, is it the randomness that makes it the
Is it
the thing?
gimmicky?
Yeah, it seems gimmicky. Everybody's doing it, and you're getting paint all over your garage, and so, I mean, so to send to like to look at your stuff, and then to look at let's say just a poor artist that was pouring color and then spinning the canvas, and then look at this,
Yeah.
I like to think that people put a lot more thought into their abstraction, right? And
Yeah.
that's why the people that and hence back to that original question I asked early on is like I think when people have this basis in form and then turn to abstraction, it has this intentionality that
Well,
it maybe wouldn't have had if I didn't take a class in figurative drawing or figurative art, right? You know what I'm saying?
yeah, absolutely. Because it's like when you take those classes, right? There's like I mean, you're trained to look at things certain ways, and yeah, so I guess you kind of bring that thought process over into
Yeah.
abstraction.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, I never really thought about that, but yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Mhm.
And if you look at like Picasso, you look at Clifford Still stuff, they were great figurative artists too. And I didn't know that. Like, I didn't know that about a Picasso until my friend Dan Miller said, go look at his early work. And then you're
Mhm.
like, holy shit, that dude could paint. Now
Yeah.
it's just goofy cubanism that once you figure that out, you're like, oh my God, this is beautiful. And if you think about him in time of the history of art, like what he was doing was so different than everybody else and what
Yeah.
that brought, right? So there's all those elements to it anyway, for what
I
it's
love
worth.
that. I love when I find out that an artist, yeah, they're an abstract artist and they used to paint, realism. I think it's really cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, whoa, look at that. Yeah. And I think it's weird. It's weird making that transition. At least it was for me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I remember when my mom saw that I was painting abstract. She's so cute. She's like, she's like, well, I just like that realistic stuff. And she's like, but I really like the stuff you're doing now too. It's really beautiful. And there's been some pieces where she'll say, I don't know why I like it, but it's just so beautiful.
Yeah.
And it's really nice to hear that.
Yeah,
So,
that's cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
hmm
Somebody that you're so close to, that recognizes what you're doing and the beauty of it, right?
Yeah, like she remembers, all the pencil drawings I've done and things like that. Yeah. So for her, it was even a transition. She's like,
Yeah.
oh, what is this? Yeah.
Right
But
on.
At the
yeah.
bottom of your Instagram, there's a picture of you as a child holding crayons.
Yeah.
I freaking love that picture. That is an amazing. First of all, great composition. The look on your face, kind of stoic. You're holding a color. And I just look at this and like, I would put this on my mantle. And even though you're not my kid, it's a great portrait of you as a young child. I love that picture.
Yeah. I look so serious, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Determined. That's what it looks like to me. Like you have this look of determination. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I put it in the caption. It says like, sorry, I'm busy. Something like
Yeah. Sorry, I'm busy. That's
that's
absolutely,
awesome.
yeah. I love
that.
that piece. So that is absolutely gorgeous. In fact, I'm going to put a big heart on it for you.
Thank you.
No, it's an amazing, it's a beautiful, and you're a beautiful woman, obviously, but you're
Oh,
such
thank
a
you.
cute child. Just adorable. So anyway,
Yeah.
enough of that. But
I think it's pretty smart that you go back, that the art that you look at is that you have a sense of who came before you and what people were
Oh, yeah.
doing before. I think in this day and age, a lot of people don't go down that rabbit hole
hmm
and explore, you know, either different eras or different movements or have any sense. I know this is true in photography and because that's my medium, I'm pretty critical of the stuff that I see. There's great stuff, but there's also really poorly done stuff as well.
hmm
That's one of the things that I've always tried to do is I like looking at the people that came before me, the masters,
Right.
and why they were, And it's
mhm.
all those things that we just talked about as far as what makes a great piece.
I'm Jes Moran, and you're listening to the Tenet Podcast.
Over the last 5 years, what are some of the things or key points that you've seen in your evolution in doing this? What are some of those things that stick out? Are there any epiphanies? Are there things that you were like, all right, this is the direction I'm going now that I've done this?
Yeah. So I had my first solo exhibit at Auric a couple of years ago. And I really loved that work. I was producing a lot, but I think I felt like I wasn't sure even though I make abstract work, I still want there to be some sort of depth to it. And I think when I was making that work, I didn't know what that was.
Mm.
And it was kind of like I would make these paintings, and then you just kind of like slap a title on it or meaning or like it's like I want it to be meaningful. And so the last couple of years, I really tried to dive into that, like more of like, what does this mean to me, and who am I, and what do I want to say? And I would say that's definitely been a turning point for me. So I did a lot of writing, I did a lot of thinking, and just like a lot of deep internal work. Yeah, I did a lot of experimenting, like a lot. Like I said, I experimented with the natural dyes. I even like took canvas outside and I was painting outside. What else did I do? I just explored a lot. And I didn't really, I, sh- I had like a couple of shows, but they were group shows. And so I had a lot of space for myself. And yeah, and I think, I don't know, that was a turning point for me. Yeah. coming into the geometric, gosh, how did that happen? I was like really experimenting with the sewing a lot. And like I had all these really small, I kind of like went back to, it was like the same concept of painting on paper, except it was with the sewing. So I was making a lot of really small pieces and doing like different sewing techniques. And then I think I kind of just like forced myself to really like zone in, and I made the decision to go with these quilted pieces. Yeah, it just kind of hit me. It was, gosh, it's crazy to think about because there's just so much that's going on in my brain. There's so much that I'm thinking about. There's so much that I'm processing and trying to like explore. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, really the last, I guess, 6 months, that's when I started this work. It was the last 6 months.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty spectacular.
Yeah.
I mean, it is.
Yeah. I don't know. It's a lot of searching. It's just, that's the only way that I can explain it, I guess. It's just a lot of searching, a lot of writing, a lot of thinking. And then just making a decision where you're like, okay, this is it. This is what I want to do. This feels right. Yeah.
So
and it was kind of scary too, to like, because before the pieces were all kind of different, even though it was still stain painting and sewing, it felt kind of scary to, like, you're committing to this look, right? And I think that's always felt a little scary for me. Am I going to get bored? Am I going to want to do something else? But no, this has been great. It feels like, it almost feels like a relief. I feel like, okay, it's been 5 years and I feel like I'm really finding myself as an artist. It takes time. It takes a lot of time. Yeah.
So you feel like you're finding your voice?
Yes, absolutely. Mm-hmm.
I'd say you've done it in a very expedient manner. If you've done that in 5 years, like you've put in the work, you should be proud for what you've accomplished thus far, I would say.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I mean, I don't know. I feel like it's crazy because, yeah, it's been 5 years and I feel like in a lot of ways I'm just starting.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Well, and essentially you are, because I mean,
yeah.
So this is that moment where you get, as two guys that are doing this art podcast, this is a moment where I'm excited because we're catching you at this point that feels like, you're expressing to us that you feel really good about it. You feel like you're finding your foothold, your voice, right?
Yeah.
So this is where it's exciting for us because we're having this conversation now, and to see where you'll be in another, say, 5 years.
Absolutely.
That just as an observer, as an art appreciator, that's exciting.
Yeah.
I'm excited for you.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. That's definitely where my mind is too, is I think, in 5 years from now, I'm excited to see where I'm going to be. I mean, it just feels like I'm at the starting line.
Yeah.
Like for a lot of people, they might be like, what? You've been doing this 5 years already, but that's like, it's nothing. I mean, 5 years is nothing.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And you got to be in that moment, right? Like enjoy this moment of where you're at. I think people a lot of times get hung up of where they're going and not really enjoying that moment. But you seem like a person that's very engaged in their life and in the moment. Is that true?
Yeah, for the most part. I mean, I think that I definitely in the last 5 years kind of had more of that mindset, like wanting to get somewhere, right? But I think I feel like, I mean, I'm still excited. Everybody's excited for the next thing that's going to happen. But I just feel really good about where I'm at. And that just feels nice.
Yeah.
It's just nice to enjoy that. And feel proud of yourself and, yeah, just like acknowledge like, okay, I've been working really hard, like it's good. And just see what happens next. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That counts for a lot.
For sure. Yeah.
Did you have a question?
I got something. So you said you did a little bit of writing, and then I noticed at the bottom of your website that you have a newsletter. So talk about the newsletter and talk about your writing.
That newsletter is not existent right now.
Oh, it's something that's gonna happen.
Yeah. Maybe. So I had a newsletter for a little while.
Okay.
And then it just kind of fell off. Yeah.
Okay.
The writing is more just something that I do for myself to like process my thoughts.
So talk about that though. Like, what do you, so it's in the evening and you've had a hard day and you sit down with a pen. What are you writing?
Oof, gosh, what am I writing?
Let's open up the soul a little bit. Let's find out the inner tickings.
Is your journal sitting there?
Here. What am I writing? Gosh, maybe I really do need to get out my notes up here. We're going deep. We're getting deep into this.
That's right.
Give me a minute. Let's see what's some stuff that I've written. This feels really vulnerable. Like, can I go here?
Just remember, it's just the three of us talking. So.
But everyone's listening already.
Nobody's listening. Just the three of us. Get everybody else out of your mind. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, I guess like I should open up about this is that I went through a separation about a year and a half ago. We were together for 10 years.
Right.
So I wrote about space a lot at the very beginning, what it means to have space. My son is 22. So I'm just, I had him when I was really young. I had him when I was 20. Right. I was a mom and in relationships. And now I'm just on my own with my dog, know? So I wrote about space a lot and what that means to allow space into my life and what's going to come into that space. I'm very emotional and very feeling person as an artist. I write about that a lot. I write about my feelings and memories, childhood memories, like how that affects me as an adult. Interactions with people and humans and connection. So I write about my feelings a lot, probably. Yeah.
Right. No, that's good. So you're very empathic, as far as.
Oh gosh. Yeah. Almost to a fault.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I pick up on things pretty quickly. I think I'm able to read a room pretty well.
Right.
Yeah. Like just little subtleties of how people are feeling. And I'm very sensitive. Yeah. I'm incredibly sensitive.
So how does your writing, and I got two other questions and then Todd can jump in. How does writing impact your art? How does it come into it? Show itself?
Yeah, I think. Okay, so here's one, and we kind of talked about this already. I was writing about my childhood, and I was writing about where I grew up and, my background, my family, where I come from. That has a huge impact on my work. I think that, this collection of work, I titled the show Seam Shift, Painting Through Construction. And I'm taking painting, which I feel like historically you think about like oil painters and it's fine art, right? It's high quality. And a lot of times, like I didn't come from that. I didn't come from a wealthy family or something like that, and I've struggled a lot, And so taking painting and turning it into a form of construction, something that I built with my hands. I mean, that's me. That's where I come from. You know, I come from a blue collar family. So yeah, that writing, like writing about my background, writing about my life experiences. I was a single mom for a while. You know, a CNA, like being a CNA is not a glamorous job. You know, you're kind of at the bottom of the barrel in healthcare.
Right.
And yeah, I've had a lot of things that I had to overcome. And so and I think that goes back into like, that's why I love the back of the painting. Like,
Right.
that's why I connect with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like showing that labor and that work. And that can even go into like this bigger idea of like, especially right now in this economy, like there's just so many people we're all working so hard to survive and to live. And a lot of that goes unnoticed. And there's a lot of people that just have these regular jobs that like we're all holding up society.
Right.
You know? And I like that. I like bringing that into my work. And like, you know, even that aspect of like quilting is a craft. Like we said earlier, it's a thing that goes unnoticed, you know? And so taking those two things like craft and fine art and bringing them together, it just feels like me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I love that. It just feels like me. That's great.
Yeah. Yeah.
So here's my challenge for you. Since you have a newsletter and you're asking people to sign up,
okay.
I challenge you to share some of those.
Okay.
And I'm going to sign up, even though I'm not going to get anything for a while, maybe never, which is fine. I just signed up for it. I think if you were that open, because here's what happened to me when you started talking about this. And I'm an emotional
Hold
guy
on,
anyway.
he's going to cry. It's coming.
No,
I can
I'm
feel
going
it.
to try not to. But the thing is when you started talking about what you write about, I instantly felt a connection to you.
Oh.
Like a deeper connection. Like I started to love the artist in you.
You're going to make me cry.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The love of friendship kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's what I felt like when you were talking about what you wrote about your childhood and your experiences and being a single mom. And it brought me to you as somebody that's interested in your art. It made me feel connected to you.
Oh, okay.
So I think the newsletter would do that in an amazing way.
Okay.
Because we want to know you as an artist just as much as we want to know your art. Right.
Yeah.
And I just happened to see it. And so that's why I asked. But thank you for being vulnerable. Thank you for sharing. Yeah. I'm glad I held it together. Because there's other episodes where I don't, and I get real, and I might still, who knows, this might all go to hell in a handbasket. I think it's a drinking game to some people. But anyway, thank you for opening up and sharing.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, it's scary. And sometimes I don't know. It's like, do people want to hear this?
Yes.
I think that's what you think, right?
Yeah.
Is this important to them? But
I mean, as a newsletter, if I'm following you and you're writing it, let's say you're writing a newsletter. I mean, I want to hear when you're having an opening, right? But I also want to hear some personal reflection or, hey, I just went to, I climbed this mountain, doing rock climbing. And this is what I experienced. I mean, I want to hear that because I think everybody wants to hear, because sometimes I don't mountain climb, but I get this sense of what it's like to be a rock climber, I should say rock climber. And Todd talks about it. And he told me an experience just last week that I didn't ever know about, and that where he had fell and hurt himself. Mm-hmm. And so the story, getting that connection from him and his story, and we were actually talking about the documentary we mentioned earlier, and hearing that personal connection just makes me feel closer to you as a patron, right?
Yeah.
So anyway.
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. It's like, You had mentioned that post that I did recently about, just like personal stuff. And I just randomly thought to share that. And that's the best post I've ever had.
It's a
People
great
loved it.
post. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
I was just shocked. Yeah.
it's right on. It's everything that Wes, thank you, Wes, for asking about the whole journaling or writing thing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because if you didn't ask it, I was going to ask it. So I was glad we do this a lot where we kind of tune into a certain thing at the same time. But this is why, again, and I tell artists this all the time when I'm out and about, I think artist talks are really important. Really important. And I know Auric is really good about featuring whatever artist they're showing for that month. They always have some kind of artist talk lined up, which is, I think, just brilliant. They're really smart. Gunga and Abby, they're savvy gallerists, and everything that Wes just asked about and you talked about, all that is part of the piece of the puzzle of being an artist. People don't want to just buy a piece of Jes Moran's, they're also buying you as an artist. They
Mhm.
want that connection. And
Yeah.
so there is a reason why that post has done so well, because people are like, and Wes says this all the time on the podcast, when we have somebody that is willing to be vulnerable and open up about a particular facet or subject of their, that
Mhm.
involves their life, he always says, there's somebody out there right now that needs to hear this
Mm.
exact same thing, because it brings us, it connects us, it brings us closer, and people realize, oh my gosh, there's somebody else in the world that feels the way that I do, or processes the way I do, or has had that experience, or has gone through that, um, that trauma, or whatever it may be, right?
Right.
But people want that connection, and it's really, really important. So,
Yeah. They feel like I'm not alone, and
yeah,
especially more like now with technology and people, we're all trying to connect, through social media or whatever. And yeah, it's important to be vulnerable. And it's funny because I think sometimes I just assume that people know things. I don't know, like I might share on a story that I went climbing. So then I just think like, oh yeah, people know I climb or whatever it is. And you had a lot of people that were like, I didn't know those things about you, So
Yeah.
I'll be
mhm.
willing to lay money, if you're a gambling gal, that after this episode airs with this interview, somebody will come up to you and go, hey, I listened to that interview you did, and I did not know that about you, you know?
Yeah.
And they'll be like genuinely like, wow, that was really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of artists, I'm not very good at talking about myself. Like I said earlier, I'm very curious about people. I should start a podcast so I
You
can
should.
ask people questions.
You should.
You should.
I love asking questions and getting to know people and learning about their inner worlds, So yeah, it's hard to be vulnerable
It
and
is.
like share
It
stuff
is.
about yourself.
Yeah.
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 Self-doubt. You ever go through those moments where
No,
you
never
guess,
in my life.
I
I mean,
wallow in it.
you seem very self-assured,
Do I?
outwardly, but I also know that that's part of the equation for all artists. So what do you have self-doubt about, or what are some of maybe the fears that you have?
Yeah. Yes, I definitely have self-doubt. I would say even just recently, it's taken a lot of work to get to where I am. And even just for this show, a lot of sacrifices. Just, I can't, like, I have to work tonight. Like, I have to make work. And sometimes there's just some self doubt about that. Like, am I doing the right thing?
Right.
Am I, you know, yeah, am I making the right decisions? Like, is this going to pay off? Or, am I missing out on things because I'm choosing to to be an artist and to make this my priority. So I would say that's more like where that doubt comes in, not necessarily. I mean, sure, there's doubt, like, is this any good? That's there too. Like, is this good? I don't know if this is good or not.
Right.
But I think more like when you have to work a full-time job and then also make artwork, yeah, it's the sacrifices. So I think sometimes that's where the doubt comes in. Yeah. And then honestly, just recently, I was kind of feeling like that, like a couple of weeks ago. And I'm not a very religious person. I am spiritual. And I would say only like within the last year, I started having, like, I used to not even use the word God. So like within the last year, I started talking to God, whatever that means for you.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And even just recently, I just felt really tired. And I was like talking to God and I was saying, I just need something, like just a little something so that I know that I'm on the right path still. And then I heard from you.
Yeah.
So
nice.
Yeah. It's good.
Right on. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah. So thanks.
You're welcome.
Well, I just think that sentiment is beautiful that, you're a spiritual person, not necessarily religious, but, you're not afraid to, again, you're being vulnerable. You're having this conversation with God and you're like, hey, just like a billion other artists out there, I'm in my studio, I'm grinding away. And that's what artists do, right? They grind. And
yeah.
Sometimes you're just like, man, just give me a break. Like, just give me one little nugget, that can just carry me forward just another day, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's real. I mean, that's definitely the reality of being an artist. It's you got to put in that work and sometimes you get tired.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I got to ask you about routine. What is the scenario when you're getting to work? Is there any particular like things that you always do when you're either preparing to make work or in the process of making work? What does that look like when you're in the studio by yourself at, I don't know, midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning grinding?
Yeah. I don't think that I have like a set routine so much. I mean, like last night, I knew that I had to make the paintings, right? So there's like a series of steps to get through. But a lot of times it's, all right, I got to get to work, making sure I have some snacks, maybe some coffee. Yeah.
What's the go-to snack?
Oh, I love chips. I can eat all the chips.
Potato chips?
Yes. It's bad. I'm addicted.
That's all right.
It's my kryptonite. I swear to God. I think about it all the time as I'm sitting there munching away. Like, these are like one of the worst things I could be putting in my body right now, but I'm still doing it because I don't know if it's the whole experience. I guess it is, the crunchiness.
It is.
Yeah, I love potato chips.
What can I say? Here's a funny story. Bought some salsa verde couple on a trip, right? And I hadn't had it in a long time. This is Doritos salsa verde. This podcast is not sponsored by them. That should though. But anyway, I went online to find it because you can't find it in the stores, right? I don't know why, but it's not one of their popular ones. And I found it at Safeway. So I went and bought, and you could buy two for like half price, right? So I went and bought that. And one evening I sat there and ate almost the whole, we're talking like the big bag. I sat and ate almost the whole thing. I was like, after I was done, I was kind of regretting, but man, in the moment, it was like the best thing ever. Mm-hmm. The salty, the flavor, and man, yeah, that was
so good.
Good indulgence. And then I made popcorn the other day and ate the whole, I did like a cup of popcorn. I sat there and lots of butter, devoured the whole thing at lunch. And then I was like, oh my God, I feel like crap. Lots of butter. But anyway.
A friend brought me over like 3 bags of potato chips. They were gone so quick.
Yeah.
And then I think, all those potato chips went through my body. Like, that's insane. Like that. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, it's terrible.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
That's exactly how I feel.
And then you look at the back of the package and it's like, 5, 6 chips is like 160, 180 calories. And like,
That's a
holy
serving.
shit, I just consumed a whole day's worth of calories in like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
A small village of starving children's worth of calories.
What's your go-to chip? Do you have like a flavor or you just like regular potato chips, like
I
straightforward?
really like I buy a lot of the Boulder, is it Boulder Canyon or something
Mm.
like that? They're like the
Yeah.
Boulder. Yeah, I like the jalapeno cheddar ones.
Oh,
Okay.
that'd be
Oh, they're
good.
so good. That or corn chips. Like, I just love tortilla chips.
Yeah, I like the pizza flavored
I could probably live on chips and salsa.
I know.
or
I'm
the
so
chili
dumb. Like
flavor.
I'll stand and I'll just take like various hot sauces and I'll literally like take a dollop of hot sauce and stick it on a chip and then just eat it just like that.
Yeah,
I don't
Yeah.
know if that's a weird thing or if other
Oh,
people
no.
do it, but okay,
that's
good.
awesome. It's awesome.
Yeah. What about sweets? Some people are, they're more sweets.
It's not my wheelhouse.
Really?
I'm more, yeah. I only like, there's only two desserts that I really like. Ice cream is my other kryptonite. I love ice cream and pie. I love pie.
Yeah, I
Any
do
kind of
too.
pie. I love pie.
Yeah.
Could care less about cookies, um, brownies, any other like chocolate type stuff. Not my bag, not my cup of tea. But yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like people are they're either sweet or salty,
Right.
right?
Yeah. Yeah, I
yeah.
Yeah.
think so. Yeah.
Mhm.
Although Boston cream pie, oh my God. I could die for a slice of
Boston
that.
cream pie. Interesting.
Oh my God, that custard filling and dark chocolate. Mm.
I don't know if I can get on board with that.
Ooh.
Banana cream,
Oh,
coconut cream.
yes, coconut cream is really good. That's usually my go-to pie. That and apple.
Oh, I love apple pie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it has to have sweetener in it. Like I like the big chunks of sugar on top, when they make it like that. Instead of like now everybody makes it without sugar and it's just like, it's not the same, I like
Well, it's
grandma's
pie.
pie.
It should be sweet, right?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Love a pie.
What about
So
cheese on pie? You ever had
Cheese?
that?
No.
Like a sliced cheese on pie?
No. No.
I've
think that's
heard of
so
it.
good.
I've never experienced that.
No.
Yeah, I've never done it either.
Okay. I was like, shit, I'm missing out. And then she's not done it either. So
Well, it's huge. Like,
is it a
it's
huge
huge
thing?
in the Midwest. Yeah, like a slice of cheese on pie.
I suppose
Apple pie, I
a
think.
Gouda cheese would be good on Gouda cheese would
Gouda
be
cheese.
good on.
Maybe some brie.
There you go. Well, that's at least soft, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God, we should probably talk about her new art.
We will. So
Okay.
do you have like sweet stuff in addition, or it's just all the chips?
Nah, it's mostly just the chips. Every once in a while, I might buy like a package of cookies, or like some dark chocolate, like sea salt dark chocolate. I might have like a little bit of that in the fridge.
There you
But
go.
that's pretty much it.
So if a guy really loves you on Valentine's, bring you a bag of chips.
Oh, yeah. Bring me chips, baby.
We could start a whole new thing, Valentine chips, where it's,
Yeah.
it's funny.
Yeah. What about the people who like the salty stuff?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You can't leave them out.
Right. We can't be prejudiced against the salty people, right? Do you play music while you're working?
Sometimes. I feel like more often I actually do not play music. I don't know. Depends on my mood.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think trying to think. It seems like usually like on the weekends when I get up in the morning, I usually play music on the weekends, but like in the evening, sometimes I'll watch a show actually. Like I'll put a show on my laptop and I might not really be watching it. It's usually something really dumb. So I don't have to really pay attention.
Right.
But I think it's just like having that it helps keep me awake, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think that's something my wife would do too. Like she's a multitasker. Are you a multitasker?
absolutely. It's terrible.
Like when she was in school, like what you're doing right now,
Yeah.
literally, I mean, she could be having a conversation. She's studying or writing a paper, and she's got some kind of TV show. Again, something that she's not really paying attention to, but is
Yeah.
kind of just playing in the background.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, it's hard for me to wrap my head around that whole scenario. I'm like, I don't even know how you function. Like, I can't even compose an email without being completely quiet. Like, people walk in my office, start trying to, yak at me or ask me a question. And I'm like, hey, you need to leave. Like,
Yeah.
let me finish this email or this whatever I'm writing, and
Yeah.
then I can address whatever the situation is. But I
Right.
can't do it right now.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely a multitasker, but it sometimes doesn't actually work. I think I've heard that people aren't actually multitasking. It looks like they are, but they're
Right.
like, they're just, switching a lot.
Yeah.
I don't know. Cause
Yeah,
like,
I've read that too, where your brain
yeah,
can't actually multitask in the same, it's focusing on one thing,
yeah,
and then you have to recover. If you watch something, then come back, you got to kind of recover. But I think we
yeah.
recover quickly enough that makes us think we multitask. So
Oh yeah.
that's
Hmm.
probably what it is.
Yeah. Like I hate cooking. So I'll put a show
Mm,
on while I cook.
okay.
That's a terrible idea. It doesn't ever work. And then I'm trying to paint too. I always end up burning something or yeah.
Yeah. See, when
Not
I
good.
cook, I got to be cooking. I can't be like, you can't set it and forget it because unless it's crock pot stuff, right? But
Right.
my wife will do that too. She'll put something, start cooking something, and then next thing you know, I'm like, hey, I think you need to check that. But I mean, I can't do that either. If I'm grilling, I need to grill. Now I can listen to music or whatever, but I got to be there attending it because I know if I walk away, things are
Yeah.
going to go south quick. So, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Hmm.
I do like cooking when I have a recipe and somebody tells me what to cook, then I'm happy. But if I have to figure out what I'm going to cook, oh, I hate that.
Ugh, I hate
You have
that
to
too.
decide what I'm going to make. Ugh.
I think that's why I don't like cooking. I just,
Maybe.
like everybody in the whole world is dealing with what are we going to have for dinner tonight?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
I
Chips,
freaking hate that question.
Chips.
chips. It's
Exactly.
what's for dinner.
Dorita salsa verde.
Hey, I think we could do an ad campaign.
That's right.
Oh,
Oh man.
do you think we'd be sued by the whatever the American Beef Association if we brought back that tagline, but we
That
inserted
chief
chips in there?
chips, it's what's for dinner.
Yeah.
Can we use the Sam Elliott voice? Chips, it's what's for dinner.
Well, yeah. Doesn't get any better than that, right?
That's right. Anyway.
You said that you think a lot about, and I've read this in one of your interviews about the relationships with color, how it is tied to our memories and experiences. And I think you touched a little bit about that on
Mhm.
that earlier. Talk a little bit about that.
Hmm. Gosh, when was that interview? Sorry, I didn't mean to put you
No,
on
no,
the
no,
spot.
no. I just thought it was an interesting quote. And so I don't
Yeah.
remember if it was for your like shout out Colorado interview that
Oh,
you
yeah.
wrote that, or if it was the interview that you did for Daria magazine when you were
Okay.
doing that 5 show down at Surface.
Yeah, I mean, I think that when I'm painting, I'm definitely, it's not like my mind is just blank, right? Sometimes I'm thinking about places that I've been. I think about the desert a lot.
Mm.
Yeah. So maybe that's what I was talking about there. I don't know if I have a good answer for that one.
I just thought it was such a great and interesting quote, how you were
Yeah.
associating experience and memory with color.
Yeah.
I definitely think that that's the case with other sensory stuff, right? When we hear
Right.
music, you're a lot of times you're transported to a certain time in your life when, another chapter that where you were doing something completely different, your younger days or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
It just kind of brings you back into that moment of what you were doing or what you were dealing with, right? So, I just thought it was a really compelling quote.
I think that, I mean, like this painting that I have in front of me, I can definitely look at it and think about being in Utah and just being in the middle of nowhere, right?
Yeah,
Utah is like, it's like Mars.
it is.
Yeah, I was at Valley of the Gods. I don't know if you've heard of Valley of the Gods,
No.
but yeah, it always takes me there. It's like I'm just transported into that space.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. This one behind me, this one definitely makes me think about the desert and Joshua Tree and the plants. Hmm.
That's a big
And
piece too.
it is a big piece. And you
Yeah,
posted that on your Instagram, yeah?
I did. Yeah, this is the biggest piece I've ever done.
Okay.
Yeah.
Really? Okay.
Six
Well, let's
by-
talk about this and this new work that you're going to be presenting at Auric. So
Mhm.
talk about this piece and what I I guess kind of see in it or what it evokes in you.
Yeah. So, my older work is a lot of just really bright, saturated. Like I used a lot of purples and reds, and this newer work, I kind of transitioned into like a little bit more of jewel colors or earthy colors, I suppose. And I don't really use a lot of green in my work. I feel like that's not really one of my go-to colors. I thought that would be, it's such a large piece. I wanted it to feel calming. And that's why I chose to go with those shades of green, and definitely thinking a lot about the desert and I don't know, just being in that open space, you know. Like I said, I think with my work, I don't like when I look at that piece, I just feel this sense of stillness and calmness and quietness. And I want each piece to get to that space. It's like you just want to sit down on a bench and just look at it and just feel that that stillness.
Yeah.
So, I think that's what I'm trying to do, that sense of awe.
Mhm.
Yeah, like when I look at a Joan Mitchell or a Helen Frankenthaler, like that's what I feel when I see those pieces. And so that's what I'm trying to create, or a Rothko, any of those. And I think the scale does that as well. That's why I'm really drawn to large scale work. I love making big work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, large scale definitely lends itself to the kind of work that you do for
Yeah.
sure. I mean, obviously we talked about, that piece early on, the desert dwellers that are relatively small, but
Right.
these pieces definitely, I'm ultra excited to see them in person when you have your show that opens in June. And
Yeah.
I do get that sense of peacefulness, serenity,
Hmm.
and yeah,
Yeah. And I think that incorporating the sewing as well, it's like you want to get up close and you want to look at that
Hmm.
like you would a quilt,
Yeah.
It's not just a painting. You want to see where all the seams come together, and it shifts the form.
Yeah. Well, it
Yeah.
just adds another element to focus on. I mean, because you could look at any of those triangular pieces or squares. I mean, so there's so many elements here, right? Like
yeah,
you could spend a little time just looking at one single triangular piece and
Mhm.
then move out and see, the square and then the square within the square and then what's the color doing because you got browns next to greens and below that you have two shades of green that's, like one's like a lime green or at least on the screen it looks lime green and then
Yeah.
this dark green that's faded darker as you go to the top. I mean, so each little square offers you some time to like what's going on there, what am I feeling? And then you got the bigger piece as a whole and what's that doing and what's the negative space of the raw canvas doing for me, So there's a lot of elements to really like sink your teeth into, so to speak.
Yeah.
And it has that movement that you know you've
Mm.
talked about that's going on. I mean, there's a lot going on there. It's really spectacular, just so you
Yeah.
know.
Thank you.
Um, yeah, it's stunning, and I love the process. I love what you're exploring. I love the fact that you're deconstructing these paintings and then, putting all these elements together to make this, other piece, this larger piece. And yeah, I think it's fascinating, really
Yeah.
fascinating.
Thank you. Yeah. I'm equally as excited about it. Feels really good.
When people come see the show in June, what can they expect to see? Like, how many pieces do you think will be part of this show? Obviously, you're still making work for it.
Yeah.
Um, what should be not necessarily a takeaway, but what is the experience that you're hoping that they have with this new work?
So I should have around maybe 18 to 20 pieces,
Wow.
I think. Yeah. Some really large pieces. And then I liked the idea of having some really large pieces and then really small pieces, like that shift in scale.
Hmm.
It's not like a ton of medium-sized pieces. And what am I hoping people take away from the show? I think that my mind automatically goes to, like, I keep thinking about the quilts and these forms of work that really just go unnoticed. And I think I want people to feel seen, you know, that we're all putting in a lot of work. And I mean, even just with social media, things are just so glamorized, and that's not the reality of life. And
Right.
so I think bringing in that concept of labor and the quilts, and yeah, I would say that's it. Like a conversation around. I would definitely like a conversation around those ideas to happen. It's just being seen and being valued for the work that you do,
Mm-hmm.
even if it's not something that's, glamorous or makes a lot of money and things like that. I like bringing that into the art world because I think that the art world it can be scary for people too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, so I would say that's probably it. Yeah.
Nice.
Who would you say is your biggest support?
The person in my life. That's
Person
my
or thing? Yeah, something, that kind of is cheerleading you along the way. Do you have those people
um
or person?
yeah, I mean, I have that from friends and from family, and even my son. My son's a musician, so we share that creativity together, and he's a lot like me. He's very positive and he's willing to put in the work. And so we're always cheering each other on. That feels really nice. Yeah. And my parents have always been really supportive of my creativity. That's one thing, like, in high school, you talk to people and they're like, oh, I liked making art, but your parents don't want to, you got to do this, or you got to do that.
Right.
And they were always really supportive of my creativity. So I think that's pushed me a long ways because they just accepted that in me, and they encouraged me and they believed in me. And I think that goes a long way.
Yeah.
So even if I didn't necessarily have like financial support, just growing up with that, Like your parents being like, yeah, you should do that. You're good at that. And that just kind of carries over. I don't think I actually realized that until recently.
Mm-hmm.
When I talk to other people where they say, well, I can't do that, or they just kind of like don't believe in themselves. I thought about that, and I told my mom that recently. I was like, I really appreciate that. You always supported me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's huge.
That's gold right there.
Yeah.
Having that kind of growing
Yeah.
up in that kind of situation where your parents are supportive. Again,
Yeah.
it's not necessarily a monetary thing. It's the fact that they're in your corner always and encouraging and, supportive in
Yeah.
those ways.
Yeah. And it's crazy because it's not in this way where, like I said earlier, I wasn't going to museums or I didn't have this really fancy education or anything like that, but just that they believed in me, I guess, was really
Right.
helpful. And the Colorado Springs art community I've had so much growth here. It's been incredible. I'm so grateful to the galleries here and the gallery owners. Like, this is where I've grown as an artist.
Right.
It's been amazing. Yeah, they've been so supportive and really encouraging. And I just, yeah, it's been great. I never would have, I never would have thought, you know, that would have happened, but that happened for me here.
Yeah.
That's
Mm.
wonderful. That was going to be my next question about how you felt about your art community there in Colorado Springs. And to a T, that's what I get from, talking to every single Colorado Springs artist that we've had on this program, or having conversation in galleries, just how supportive the whole community as a whole is.
Yeah, it's crazy because, it's not a huge city, but it's just wonderful. The community here it's outstanding. It's really nice. Everyone is so supportive and we're all cheering each other on all the time and lots of opportunity. I always tell that if I meet an artist that's just starting out, I feel like there's a lot of opportunity here yeah, to give it a go,
Yeah.
So it's good.
That's awesome.
Back to this work that you're going to be showing in June.
Yeah.
I recently realized that you had revamped your website because for a moment there it wasn't coming up and I was like, oh shoot, I wonder if she's in the process of redoing it or doing something different. All the work that is on your website currently, and you've kind of streamlined it a bit, this is all going to be some of the new work that
Correct.
you're going to see at Auric.
Yeah. I applied to this art residency in Mexico City.
Oh,
And
cool.
so I quickly had to get my website. I had another website and then I I took that off for a while. And so yeah, I was applying to art residency, but yeah, that's not all of the work, but yeah, all of that will be at the show in June.
Yeah, it gives you at least kind of a sense of the work that people will be able to see, and
Yeah. Hmm.
in a diverse range with different palettes, and I like that you included like close up shots of each piece, and then again you're showing the back of what that looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really really nice.
Thank you.
Yeah. And I love the diversity of the colors that you're working with. I mean, again, I think you don't have titles for all these, right? But like this
Mm-mm.
piece, this is really quite spectacular. I mean, this to me feels like the desert, with the
Mhm.
palette and I have that feeling of, desert red rock and some of those spectacular skies that you get. And it has that movement and that, uh, you know, uh, negative space.
It's nice to hear that because I love this piece, but I feel like this piece is a little bold. It kind of has a little bit more of the color palette for my older work.
Yeah.
And I definitely I make what I want to make, but there's fear there, right? Like,
Sure.
is this too bold? Is it going to sell? Things like that. But yeah, I really love this piece. Yeah, and if you can see what I was talking about earlier, like there's like that middle section there where there's like brushwork and it's like negative, and then it goes into the blank piece. So it kind of creates a different shape in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Stunning. Absolutely stunning.
Yeah.
Thank you.
How do you go about, we will listen, we're going to start wrapping this up. How do you go about pricing your art?
Yeah, pricing. I definitely price. I mean, I price based on size a little bit, but I'm not doing any formula. Some people have like a formula that they do,
Mm-hmm.
like square inches, this is how much I charge per square inch. I think that I'm honestly pricing is it's also kind of intuitive. I just look at the work and I think, how much do I feel that's worth? How much do I need to get from that piece in order for me to feel good about it?
Yeah.
And I'm a fairly new artist, so I'm not gonna lie. I feel like sometimes I press a little bit lower.
Sure.
It's more important for me right now in my career that somebody can enjoy the piece than to make. I mean, I'm not gonna underprice it, but just I want it to sell and I want someone to enjoy it.
Right.
So I think that pricing is, yeah, it's like depends on where you are in your career. Yeah, but definitely size a little bit. Like, okay, I'm selling my 16 by 20s for, 300 or 400. And now I have this larger piece. So and then just go up from there.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So $300 or $400, that's kind of the low end of things, and then it goes up from there. That's kind of the starting range.
Yeah. I mean, like a really small piece, like a 8 by 8, I'll probably price that at like $100 for 8 by 8.
Okay.
Yeah. Actually, I was looking at that large piece the other day thinking, how much am I going to price that?
Right.
Should I say that?
Well, I think
It's up
I
to
think
you.
it's a valid thing, and and then obviously you have great support with the galleries that you show in, and I'm sure that they're always willing to give some guidance or their thoughts on,
Yeah.
where it should be, if it's too low or what have you, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's something to think about too, is your market, right?
Yep.
Like if I'm showing in Colorado Springs, I went to First Friday the other day and looking at other people's work and what their price range is at. I think it's good to kind of be somewhere in there, at least for now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I have to be realistic about those things,
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Anything else that you want to talk about or promote that you have coming up beyond this show at Auric in June?
Yeah. So I actually don't have anything else coming up, which I'm okay with. I might have a move coming next spring. I might be moving out to Joshua Tree.
Hmm.
And yeah, so I think that I'm just really enjoying this work that I've made now. And I'm going to use this work to apply to some art residencies and just kind of grow in some new directions. So I'm kind of just leaving space for that right
Yeah.
now. Yeah.
Sounds
Great.
smart to me.
Sure.
Yeah. Feels nice. It feels like a new chapter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect. So my last question for you is, what is your idea of perfect happiness?
Perfect happiness. Whew. I mean, I have like a vision in my mind of what my life would look like in perfect happiness, but
What does that look like?
well, I'm like in the desert with my studio and making art. I think for me, maintaining a sense of peace and continuously like doing the things that are important to me and having people around me that I love and care about. Yeah, I think that's happiness for me. Sense of joy and peace. Like happiness is fleeting, right? Happiness feels like the sense of like excitement.
Right.
But yeah, I think just staying grounded and staying positive and feeling calm inside. Yeah. Maintaining that sense of calmness, that's happiness for me.
For sure.
Yeah.
Especially in a chaotic world that we live in right now. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Like how do we stay calm in the chaos?
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so very much for carving time out of your day on a Sunday when you could be working or decompressing.
Yeah.
We just really appreciate the time that you were willing to give us and talking with us about your work and your process. And it was just a joy. And I'm excited to see the show at Auric in June. I'm excited to see where you go from here. So
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Best of luck. And I look forward to seeing you in person in the very near future.
Cool. Sounds great. Yeah. Thank you so much. This has been absolutely wonderful. And even just given me like a lot of insight into my own work and great feedback and such a growing experience. I really appreciate it.
Oh, well, thank you. And I really appreciate the fact that you were allowed yourself to be vulnerable in those moments and that you were. And it's always nice to put a face with art and get to know a person deeper. That's why we love this long form podcast, is we get to know you more as a person and allow our listeners to get to know you as a person. And I can tell you're a lovely person and with a kind heart. And I hope you all the peace and satisfaction. I hope you get to go to Joshua Tree and do your work. And I'm glad to have met you because I know our world is better with you, meeting you than not. So thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
Again, follow Jes on Instagram at Jes D. Moran and check out Jes's exquisite work at her website, jesmoran.com. And don't forget to get down to Colorado Springs and check out Jes's work in person next month, June 2026 at Auric Gallery in the Springs. The opening reception is on First Friday, which is June 5th. And the show title again, Jes?
The show title is Seam Shift, Painting Through Construction.
Very good. Excellent. As usual, I will have all this and more in this week's episode notes. For the Tenant Podcast, I'm Todd Pearson.
And I'm Wes Brown. Have a great week.